I want you to go to UncleTom.com and get that documentary. It's going to blow your mind.
Uncle Tom 2 is an odyssey depicting the gradual demoralization of America through Marxist
infiltration of its institutions. This film explores how this deceptive ideology has torn apart the fabric of society while using Black America as its #1 tool for its destruction. If you watch this film, it's gonna mess with your head.
I mean, I just watched it, man. It's just mind-blowing.
Uncle Tom 2 explains what's going on in this world like I've never seen before.
There's not a movie out there currently that's like this one.
The Uncle Tom movie has certainly left me flabbergasted because I'm like, I can't believe what I'm watching right now. But the evidence is so strong, only a fool can deny the effect of that.
There's a lot of information that most Americans do not know. I don't care if you white, black, whatever. There's a lot of information that's brought forward in the documentary that people just don't know about our history, and about a lot that's happening in our current culture.
It's so deep, it's so true, and so real. It's gonna blow your mind.
Awesome film. Everybody needs to watch it. You will learn something.
Not just Black people need to watch this. Everybody needs to see this.
This stuff opens your eyes in ways I never thought was even possible.
There are a lot of things in this movie that is very unsettling, and it's going to upset a lot of people.
The lies were so deep. It's like onions. It's like layers of onions, deep in lies, deceptions in which most people are not ready to hear this.
There were a couple of things in the film that I had to kind of rewind it because I was like, oh my gosh, how come, I never knew this?
I almost felt dumb. I felt taken, I felt I felt bamboozled because I believed it.
This is something that an audience will have to use as a reference tool rather than just a movie that they're entertained by, had a feel-good moment and left. It resets revisionist history.
There is a buildup in this documentary to get you to a certain point, and that point being that for the most part, everything we were taught about Black history was a lie.
Everything that I thought about Martin Luther King, everything that I've been told about the Tulsa Massacre, everything I've been told about Black Wall Street, challenged. I'm having to rethink and reevaluate everything I've been taught.
We have been lied to.
We have been sold a bill of goods, and I think Black people by and large have been, just eating up the lies.
The deception and the setup was mind-blowing.
One of the things that I thought the film highlighted so well was emphasizing who we think we are versus who we truly were.
It does a good job of showing how we transition from one ideology to the other.
The first Uncle Tom gave you an introduction into what being a Black conservative is all about the whole movement, about the history. But Uncle Tom Part 2 gets into more of the details of why we were conservative and also why we changed, why certain things in this country changed, why in many ways we've fallen from grace.
If you've never seen Uncle Tom, the first one, this movie was a part of my wake-up moment.
It kind of lifted the veil on everything that we were told because we weren't used to hearing the other side in its totality, at least until we saw this documentary. I would say it was a very crucial component in my political awakening.
If you're new to being conservative, if you're new to just trying to find out more about Black conservatives, this is definitely a movie for you. I suggest watching the first one to get the introduction, to get your feet in the water. And then Uncle Tom Part 2, you're going to be in the deep end. You're going to be doing the breaststroke, backstroke. If you can't swim, then it's going to be a little rough for you, for sure. Watch the first one, Then watch the second one. They pair very well with each other.
Uncle Tom 1 was amazing, but this one taken to a different level. And hopefully there's a part 3 to it. They had to hold back a little bit because it's too much reality.
If you watch the entire movie and you are honest with yourself, you will sit back and say, Lord Jesus, what have they done to us?
When you look at these pictures, you get a sense of what Black life was like.
Some of them look pretty prosperous.
Divine providence was clearly operating in the lives of Black Americans.
Throughout history, Black folks were honorable. They had integrity. That's what Black people were.
We were never taught that America was bad and that we were not Americans. We were raised to love America.
Protesters topple a statue of Christopher Columbus, and hundreds of statues have been vandalized.
You see people trying to rewrite history.
The American people know these names have to go.
Why is that?
Whenever you have something to be proud of, people have less of a chance of controlling you.
This country is racist from top to bottom, from right to left. And for Black people to become a part of that is for them to become, in fact, anti-Black and to hate themselves.
Y'all murder my friends! There is no country in this world that a Black person would rather be. Unless, of course, they grow up in this country.
You broke the contract for 400 years. We played
Then
your game.
they're fed a lie that is so deceptive. The reason that lie exists is power.
There are certain people who are using the Negro in order to establish that power in Washington. And the Negro is just merely a pawn in a game that's bigger than he is.
Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Look and Live. You here with Pastor James DeVallon, and I'm joined with one of my boy here, my not my boy, my man, my friend.
Good evening.
Darth Vader is with us here today. Thank you. I'm glad that you're back with Darth Vader.
Hey, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, man.
Love these talks we have.
Oh man, we have a really, really good one tonight. So who's watching with us today? I know Debbie is watching. We want to say hello, Debbie.
Hey,
Thank
Debbie.
you for the love and the care. Charles Parker, what's
Thank
going
you for
on?
the prayers, Debbie.
Appreciate that, Debbie. Charles, yes, I have Joe Brown saved on my reaction playlist. So that's up next. That's up next. I try to do something political daily, something social, and something spiritual. So that's kind of like the order. There's like 3 videos a day that you're getting in this channel. So I have a list of things coming out in order. So that's coming up soon. So I'm hoping tomorrow we can get to that. Let me tell you what we got going on for you today, so we don't waste your time here. For those of you who's been watching, you know the rapper Takeoff had died, and this is a really, really sad one. And I spoke about it in this channel before. I spoke about it yesterday. But what I love is Matt Walsh had a 10 minutes, I guess, soliloquy where he just said everything that needs to be said. I've said those in my channel before, but the way he puts it, though, you know, Matt Walsh is one of those guys when I listen to, you just have to be quiet and let him talk, because this guy just makes sense. You know, he just makes a lot of sense. And the stuff he is saying, you know, is true. All right. So I'm going to let him do a little bit of talking today. We have a lady, and because this connects directly to the discussion regarding the death of Takeoff. And then there is a woman who has the guts to confront Black Lives Matter. This is a 2 years video. This video makes a lot more sense now than it was happening then. For me, I didn't understand it. Now she has on a T-shirt called "Jesus Matters." I'm like, okay, I gotta get myself a new merch made. So here we are. By the way, we have a short video here of what's happening through the back door of many of these social media platforms and what they are allowing to happen. And Waking with JP is with us as well. Yeah, you knew JP was coming. And last but not least is the highlight of our day is this debate between Marjorie Taylor Greene, MJL, versus his name is Marcus, I think, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, Marcus. This one was very insightful because it shows you two different ideologies that is in the world today and how they are playing out. And in this debate, when you pay close attention, you will realize, okay, not only I know who wins, but I know who I am not going to vote for. So that's where I stand with that. Yeah, are we ready to get into this thing? I'm ready.
I'm ready when you are.
Let's do it. First of all, let's talk about Takeoff. For those of you who don't know, the rapper Takeoff had died. It's a sad truth. You know, many in the community are having a hard time accepting how this came about and how in the world. Again, we have another rapper who's died. This is the seventh popular rapper who has died this year. So we have a pattern going on here. We have an issue. Okay. This was over a dice game. But what it looks like, Takeoff was not even playing dice. According to what the articles are showing, he was just standing by, smoking a cigar. And something went wrong, and then a bullet strike him. And from what I'm hearing, it sounds that one of his men actually shot him by accident. It sounds like they were trying to shoot somebody else and they missed and he got hit. That's what it sounds like. It's sad, and I'm not justifying it. And I want to say prayers goes out to Takeoff's family. I'm sure he has children, 28 years old. I'm not a fan of their music. I don't support what they preach and what they tell our young people to do. But we have to look at this pattern and ask a number of questions. Why is this happening to so many of our black men? So, Darth Vader, I want to open the door for you here. What is your perspective on this? Why do you think this is going on?
I think it's because of the things that they promote in their music. I mean, just look at what they're talking about, you know, guns, drugs, hoes, all this other stuff that they keep pushing on the community. And if they think that's the lifestyle that is glamorous and warranted and this is what they're supposed to do, that's how they're going to live.
So, in other words, the music that they promote, in essence, the message of their music is the very thing that they themselves are experiencing.
It's like she said, live by the sword, die by the sword.
You die by the sword. Wow. Well, I mean, you're giving me some simple wisdom here. I say simple because some people will not agree what you are saying is true. They would like to make it an idea. They would like to call it racist. They would like to say all different things. But what we know for certain is that these young men are dying by the hands of other black men.
Well, I mean, they can try to complicate it as much as they want, but it's just a simple fact that it is what it is. You know, I mean, you promote this stuff, it seeps into the culture and into the brains of the youth. This is what they grew up listening to. This is how they, interpret life. And this is what the result is.
Wow. I think what you said here is exactly what Matt Walsh said. I've said it in my channel. We've had videos. I think Tom McDonald and what was his name? Tom McDonald. You can blame the rapper. Tom McDonald. Who else was that?
Anyway, it was Dax.
Dax, Tom McDonough and Dax, right? They had that song. Tom McDonough had a number of songs about, the rap industry. I hate hip hop, dear rappers. So he kind of speaks about this, and we have reaction videos where we said, guys, if you promote violence, there's gonna be violence, right? The Bible says what you sow, you will reap. So it, unfortunately, it's just the way of the world. You're not gonna avoid that. If you sow wickedness, the Bible says you shall of yourself reap that. And I'm not saying this man deserved to die in the condition that he did. What I'm trying to say is the culture, obviously, there is a problem in the way that we promote our culture and the kind of things that we lift up. And if we're lifting up violence and wickedness and drugs, kids carry it out. And the very men who speak about these things, they themselves find themselves victim to the same message, And I think you put it well. So I'm going to let Matt Walsh do his thing here. We're just going to listen and pay close attention to what he's saying, because I think he's going to regurgitate everything we're saying here in the best, in the nicest way possible. Let's take a listen.
Free gold bar. Don't want to miss out. Text Walsh to 989898. We begin today with deja vu. A rapper has been shot and killed. You are, I suspect, not overly shocked by this development. This time it was someone who goes by the stage name Takeoff and was part of a popular rap group called Migos. The Daily Wire has more on the story. Rapper Takeoff was shot and killed in Houston in the early Tuesday morning. According to TMZ, the 28-year-old recording artist was part of the group Migos. Law enforcement sources and several witnesses told TMZ that the fatal incident occurred just after 2:30 a.m. when police were called to 810 Billiards and Bowling, Houston. The sources said Takeoff, whose real name is Kershnick Carey Ball, was playing dice with bandmate Quavo when a fight broke out among participants. This led to one person allegedly opening fire and striking Takeoff in or near the head. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Two other individuals who were also allegedly injured during the altercation taken to the hospital, but their conditions unknown. The sources said Quavo was not hurt. So Takeoff now joins a lengthy list of murdered rappers, and it's a list that seems to be growing with increasing rapidity in recent months. Just this past September, the rapper P&B Rock was shot and killed at a chicken and waffles restaurant in Los Angeles. A couple months before that, in July, a rapper named Jay DeYoungin was shot by multiple gunmen who pulled up in a black truck and opened fire while he was sitting outside of his home in Louisiana. That same month, a rapper named Trouble was killed in a home invasion robbery in Atlanta. Overall this year alone, at least 7 rappers have been murdered. That's at least 15 since 2020. 5 a year on average, which is an extraordinary figure when you consider that the murder rate for performers in other genres is effectively 0. I mean, there are more rappers killed in a year than country singers killed in a decade or a century or ever. That's not because there's some kind of racist vendetta against rappers. There isn't any serial killer on the loose targeting hip-hop artists, as far as I know. The difference between rappers and country stars, of course, is that rappers live lifestyles of criminality and violence. They promote criminality and violence. They glorify criminality and violence. And then they fall victim to the very brutality that they encourage. In fact, I pulled up the lyrics to one Migos song totally at random. Because I don't know any of their music. I'm not very familiar with the catalog, so I just looked it up. And the first one that came up was a song called Open It Up. And the very first lines in the song are, shoot through your car door. That's the first line in the song. Then Takeoff raps, open it up, double cup, feeling the opium. It's AK in the cut, my N-word's toting it. We're trying to look appropriate. Don't show up and look at me wrong, I'm blowing it. You trying to plot, and we knowing it. Throw away, I shoot a pistol, then throw it. My N-word shoot without warning. Now, we've grown, of course, very accustomed to this sort of content in rap songs. It's not at all shocking or surprising at this point. But still, I mean, really think about what he's saying here. He's bragging about murdering human beings simply because they look at him funny. He is boasting of, and thereby promoting, murderous savagery. He's saying that he'll kill you for no reason, and then someone killed him for no reason. My point is not that this young man deserved to be murdered. I mean, nobody deserves to be killed over a game of dice. It's a tragic, senseless waste of human life and potential. My point is that rap music has helped to create a culture of crime and brutality. And that culture has become so pervasive, so out of control, that even the rappers themselves are falling victim to it every other month now. They're being eaten by the beast they create. They're not operating in a vacuum, of course. I mean, they're merely the front men. They're the salesmen knocking on your door, peddling this filth. But behind them is the entire music industry, which is run by much wealthier people who know exactly what they're doing. They know how poisonous the product is. And they know that many of their salesmen are dying by it. And they don't care. But as rap music gets more dumb and gets more brutal, more violent, more toxic, it also becomes more and more mainstreamed and ubiquitous. In my brief research into Migos, I found a picture of the three members of the band posing on the red carpet at the Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards. Because what could be more appropriate for children than music that explicitly encourages them to commit drive-by shootings? Of course, the apologists will absurdly claim that music lyrics are just words. They don't influence anyone. Go into any city in America and you will see legions of young, fatherless kids explicitly acting out the lyrics in the music that they are listening to every second of the day. And yet we're supposed to believe that they're not influenced at all. It is an outrageously stupid claim. In reality, human beings are influenced by words and ideas. We are, I mean, especially when those words and ideas are communicated through music. So it's not that they're influential as long as it's not music, it's the other way around. It's especially influential in music. There's a reason why brands have, most corporate brands have their own little advertising jingles. Because words on their own can have immense power, but when you set them to music, they become embedded in your brain, in your soul. They become a mantra, a slogan to live your life by. To a young, fatherless black kid in the city, rap music isn't just music, it's a lifestyle, it's a message about how to live, it's a message about how to conduct yourself, how to be a man. And these are kids who are not getting that message anywhere else. They don't have role models showing them how to be men. Where do they get it? They get it from rap music. It is a guide, it is a map pointing the child towards his own destruction. Now, of course, here's the irony here. The left will agree with everything I'm saying about the power of words and ideas, except when it comes to rap music. You know, they will say that if you use biologically correct pronouns to refer to a trans person, that you are then directly causing the trans person to kill himself. If you say criticize a hospital for mutilating minors, your words are directly causing violence and bomb threats against the hospital. If you say question the election results in 2020, your words directly led to the riot on January 6th. They directly caused a crazy homeless guy to break into Nancy Pelosi's house and assault her husband with a hammer. In all of these contexts, and in any other context where conservatives are saying anything about any subject, words, we're told, have enormous consequence. But when rappers spend decades explicitly glorifying and encouraging street violence, and lots of people who listen to that music commit acts of street violence, sometimes committing them against the rappers themselves, the very people who are just sermonizing about the power of words and ideas will throw their hands up and say, I don't know, I don't see a connection here. I don't see it. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Words have consequences unless they're said over a bass-heavy beat, in which case they exist in this kind of consequence-free zone, apparently. Yet, we know that that's not the case at all. In fact, in few areas of life do words have greater consequences or worse consequences than in the rap industry. Consequences that even now the people peddling this stuff can't escape. Now let's get to our 5 headlines.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of background about me before I had hopes and aspirations of going into architecture and then truck driving and all this other stuff.
Mhm.
My initial goal in life was to go into what was called music therapy, which music therapy is the idea of helping people with mental issues through the power of music.
Wow.
Okay. People don't realize, like Matt was saying there, people don't realize how deeply embedded and ingrained music is
Mhm.
in the human psyche and how much of an influence that has on people. The fact that now you put words to that music gives it that much more power.
Yeah,
It gives those words that much more power.
absolutely.
And these record labels and stuff, they take out millions and millions and millions of dollars of life insurance on these rappers because they know that what they're promoting and what they're putting out there as a product is absolutely going to end up as their demise.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when that happens, guess
Mhm.
who gets paid out? It
Yeah.
ain't the families that get paid out, it's the record label that gets paid out.
Absolutely. Not only do they get paid out on the lives of the deaf rapper, they also end up owning their royalties,
Mhm.
which implies every time their songs are played, and which I've also discovered when rappers dies, when a rapper is dead, is that their music start to sell even more, like a dead man speaks louder kind of thing, right? So
Look at what happened with Tupac.
there we go. So their songs sell out even more. Families don't benefit from that. Record label make more money on the death of the rapper. When he is dead, he is worth more than when he was alive.
hmm And it goes all back. Like him, Matt. When Matt was talking, it just took me right back to high school. Of I wanted to help people with music. I wanted to try
Mhm.
to make
Mhm.
people see that there was more
Mhm.
to life and help ease people's burdens through the power of
Of music.
music because I knew how much it
Power it has.
power it has over the human psyche.
It is. It is.
And that's the thing is
Mhm.
that power is a double-edged sword.
Yes, it is. I mean, recently I was, as you know, I was going through some situation, and all I needed was a song. I gotta tell you, man, the darkness can come at you sometime. Your thoughts can play on your psyche, and sometimes you can feel overwhelmed. I can
Mhm.
pray, I can read my Bible, but I was doing these things. But one thing I needed at that moment was a song. And the moment I heard the song, I was freed. I had my I had my cousin who died from cancer. His name is Angel Gabriel. The man who led me to become a Christian at the age of 35, I had to do his funeral. So
Oh
I
man.
became a Christian because of him. And then 3 years later, he's gone, and here I am becoming a pastor. And I'm like, "What? Are you kidding?" And he's like,
You might cut out.
"Do his funeral." Sorry. So I had to bury the man who led me to Christ. So with that, is it good now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember the issue that I had struggling getting over the death of AJ, which nobody knew for years. I was struggling with that. And would you believe me? It was the song by Tom McDonough entitled Cancer that got me over that hurdle.
I believe it.
So when the moment I watched the song by Tom McDonough, with all the sermons, with all the prayers, with everything that I was doing, I needed to hear a song to get me from that mental struggle that I had over the death of my friend to actually accept it. I never actually accepted it because he died so young, just got married. He had 3 months to get out of school and be a full-time minister. We got into this thing together. We both went into medicine together. We started doing, we went into nursing together, and then we both got into ministries together. So he's gone. I'm alive. He converted me. I'm here. He's dead. And his wife called me to do this funeral. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I struggle with the mental issue with that goes with that for years until I heard one song from Tom McDonald. That was my breakthrough.
Yeah,
So
very
people
much.
who sitting there thinking music doesn't have an influence on the mind of people. I said, I don't want to call you stupid, but you are delusional. You think record labels are putting hundreds and millions of thousands of dollars to back up these artists, and like they don't know the impact that this is having. This stuff is more influential than politics, is more influential than the church. Entertainment industry speaks more volume to the minds of individuals than any other means in the entire world.
Especially the youth who are moldable. Their minds are malleable to and susceptible to this type of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, that's kind of what we're saying. And Matt Walsh is right on point. There's nothing he said here that I don't agree with. I want to say this, and then we wrap it up. In the scripture, Galatians chapter 6, verses 7 and 8, be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. And he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. Friends, I'm not going to add my thought to that. I'll let you guys interpret that on your own. We're going to move on to the next part of our video. So this video here also goes in line with what we were saying, because this woman, she said Jesus matters. And she was pushing back against Black Lives Matter. When I first saw this years ago, I was like, this lady sounds like she's crazy, you know? But now I'm looking at this lady, I'm like, no, she wasn't crazy. She knew what she was saying. And this video, I mean, it gets a little wild, so, you know, but we're going to take a listen, okay? Let me mute myself here.
They say Black Lives Matter. They say Black Lives Matter, right? They say Black Lives Matter. You want to defund the police for Black people.
Sorry, my bad. No. Buffalo or what? Yeah.
They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. Refund the police. Refund the police. Refund the police. Refund the police. They don't care about Black lives. They all for the sake of Black people. De Blasio doesn't care about Black people. De Blasio doesn't care. Refund the police. Refund the police. Refund the police.
You
ass.
You.
Refund the police. Devil. You a devil. Refund you. Refund the police. 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 Jesus matters. Jesus matters. We will never support Black Lives Matter.
Why don't you stop her?
We will never support
Why don't you stop
it. We will never support it.
Oh, you're over 100. That's what it is.
Refund the police. Jesus matters. Jesus matters. We will never support Black Lives Matter. We will never support it. We will never support it. People. He fights for the people. He fights for the people. He fights for the people. They fight for us. They fight for us. Where you at? Where you at? Somebody watch it. Where you at? Somebody watch it. They're killing each other. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? They don't care. They don't care about Black people. Susan, get your teeth. Get your teeth. They don't care about Black people. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. Refund the police. Refund the police. Refund the police. Refund the police. They don't care about Black lives. They care. More picture. More picture. Let me speak! Let me speak! They don't care! 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 We're killing each other left and right! Black Lives Matter! Liars! 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 In the name of Jesus! Jesus matters! Black lives don't matter until Jesus matters. Jesus matters! Jesus matters! Jesus matters! Stand up! Take your country back! Take your country back! They don't care! They don't care! They don't care about us! Stop! This is to stop!
Alright, back up.
You see what I'm saying? Come out quick. Look, I got water, I got glasses.
Step up. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do.
Boy, Darth Vader. This was wild.
She knew it before it was even a thing.
Yeah, we saying it now. We saying it now, but
Some of us have been saying it all along.
We kill each other, and we talking about, especially the black community, we kill each other all day, and then here we are talking about Black Lives Matter.
How's the Sunday school go? Black and yellow, red and white, we're precious in his sight.
Jesus loved the little children. Yeah, it's crazy, that we needed to hear this over and over again. And again, we've been falling for this thing, and enough already. Enough, because it's just that if you need a system to remind us about Black Lives Matter, it to me, it just makes no sense. I listened to Lil Wayne earlier today. I don't listen to the Lil Wayne's music anymore, but he was saying the same thing. He's like, Black Lives Matter? What is that? Majority of my fans are Caucasian people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what are you talking about? That's if my albums are not purchased by white people, okay, I don't have a career. That's literally what. Because think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Because when you look at like the blacks, we make up 13.5% of the population in the world, at least in the United States. How many blacks really listen to music? Not all. Let's just make it fair. Let's just say maybe half of the group. Let's just say 6.5 of blacks listen to rap music, right? But how many of them are going to buy the song? They're not buying it. Some of them might be purchasing it maybe watching online for free, or some of them may have a way of getting that music.
Pirating it.
They can pirate it, right? So in essence, if rap music was, if really we were dealing with racism at that degree, there will be no reason for rappers to even be famous as they are. They don't have a reason to even have anything. They don't even exist. So
and like you pointed out in your video the other day, is small a portion of the population as blacks are, the black portion of the population accounts for the majority of the murders in the U.S.
52% of them, of the murders in the U.S.
And that's mostly black on black crime.
Yes, inner cities crime. This is being done interracially.
You guys, blacks have more to worry about from other blacks than you do a Caucasian.
And we screaming Black Lives Matter, as if we're not killing each other. I mean, we are killing each other at such an alarming rate than ever was done to us by the KKK, Jim Crow,
or slave owners.
Yeah, you can add it. We've done more harms to our own community, even during the period of lynching. More blacks die on a 3 to 6 months period than was done throughout the entire period of lynching.
Yeah,
and we are making a whole bunch of noise
If I'm not mistaken, during the entire time of lynchings, I think 5 black people died.
Yeah.
I think that was the total sum.
Is it? Is it? I can look it up.
And that's like not including, yeah, like Captain Fedez says, that's not including the whole abortion thing.
Yeah. Well, yes. That's another discussion in itself. How many blacks or babies are killed when you add the abortion numbers? Yeah. Because lynching wasn't just of blacks; it was first. It was happening among whites.
Yeah, I mean, it
And
wasn't just
eventually,
blacks getting hung. I mean, there was also whites getting hung too, who
yeah,
supported blacks.
yeah. So,
But I'm talking about just straight black people who were during that time. I think there was like 5 black people who were hung during that time, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, I've heard. I don't know. I don't have the facts in front of me now. At least, okay. According to this equal, let me put that up. According to this Equal Justice Initiative, I'm not sure how reliable this is. The numbers here shows
I'd
okay,
question those numbers.
okay, 4,075 ratio terror lynching of African American in Alabama, Alaska, Florida, Georgia. Okay, so at least 800 more lynching of blacks people in the states than previously reported. Okay, I might do this. I need to do some research to affirm these numbers. I heard there were more, but even with 800, let's even say 2,000, that's still a lot. When you compare that to how many are killed by the hands of black men on a yearly basis,
Hmm.
it's worse than that. So that's what we have to look at. So we're looking at those
Yeah,
numbers
it's
and we
like
say,
what, every 4 and 10,000, 4 and 1,000.
mm, that is crazy. It's heartbreaking. So we have an issue that is internally ingrained within the system of within our culture, with black culture in particular. Like Matt Walsh says, you don't hear country artists killing each other that way. It's true.
Yeah,
I hear they die of cancer, things like that. I hear a car accident and stuff like that, but not like that, not to that
like
degree.
even heavy metal, you hear about them dying and stuff, but usually that's them taking themselves out, like drug
Yeah.
overdose
Drug
or
overdose. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
suicide, self deletion, or something like that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's not them taking each other out, like the whole thing with like Biggie and Tupac.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Debbie, you said powerful. As soon as I've heard the 3 leaders of BLM were Marxist, and that ended my support of the organization. One thing that I have noticed is that is the left and the organization know how then to name bills. Yeah, I've heard about their Marxist theology. They were trained Marxist, and even if you watch, I know you've seen the movie Uncle Tom too. You've
Hmm.
noticed in that movie they were talking about Eric Maine.
Yep.
Eric Maine, yeah, Eric Maine himself, who supported the BLM movement, himself was a Marxist. So he taught these women Marxist theology, and these women opened organization carrying on the Marxist theology. There you have it. And this is what we're talking about. Little Wayne had something to say about this because I think what he said was also very insightful.
Quite frankly, I didn't support them when they basically excluded one ethnicity over another.
Yeah, that's the problem. Automatically, that's the problem. Automatically, because once they say Black Lives Matter, no other lives will matter. Cops' lives didn't
Mhm.
matter. White lives didn't matter. All lives didn't matter. But if you were to say that, they say you are trying to contradict. You are trying to create problems between us. You are not respect.
You cut out again.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, they had all these reasons why we were not allowed to disagree with the narrative unless everyone agree with them. Unless you believe in Black Lives Matter, you were you hate black people.
Yeah.
You know,
And
that was
all lives matter was a racist statement.
Yeah, it was, even though it is true. But hey, Kanye West came out and said white lives matter and we want to kill him.
Yep.
I don't know why. Because now they canceled the man. They went after everything. They're trying to destroy his entire livelihood. It's crazy.
People don't like the truth because the truth hurts.
Especially when you've been believing a lie for so long. You don't like when the truth comes to you. I think I have a Bible study coming out this Friday that's gonna challenge a lot of people on my channel. So it's gonna be like, is that, oh my goodness, I wish I didn't hear this. Some people will have a hard time with that. But the people who love the truth are gonna look at it and say, you know what? I'm gonna pray and make my decision. Lil Wayne had something to say. I think what he says was well said, to be honest, because he kind of like he debunked the entire Black Lives Matter theory.
What's your thought on Black Lives Matter?
What is it? What do you mean?
The idea is that there's this movement called Black Lives Matter, thinking that the rest of America didn't seem to understand that Black Lives Matter.
It just sounds weird. I didn't know that you put a name on it. It's not a name. It's not whatever. It's somebody got shot by police and for a reason. I am a young, black, rich. If that don't let you know that America understands Black matter these days, I don't know what it is. Don't come at me with that dumb man. My life matter, especially to my.
Do you separate yourself from it?
I don't feel connected to a damn thing that ain't got nothing to do with me. If you do, you crazy. You connected to this flag right. As I'm connected, I'm a gangbanger, man. I'm connected.
He ended our interview angrily.
What's your reaction to Kaepernick's protests?
Yeah, going right back again to it's a man. It's a man and his decisions, man. Respect the man and his decision. That's all I can do. I have no opinion on it because the things that's I'm not into it enough to even give an opinion. So when he did it, I really didn't even know what. Somebody had to tell me why he was doing it. That's how much I didn't know what was going on, and I kind of still don't. So somebody had to explain to me like, "Are you kneeling because of the Black Lives Matter thing and because of and all that wave or whatever? That whole wave just went by me too fast for me even try to even give an opinion. So I just was like, oh, okay, that's what's happening."
So you're a deep thinker in these issues. So step back from all of it. I know this is a very broad question, but where are we in the United States of America in race relations and what you see from day to day in your life?
Skip, they wouldn't want to ask me that. They wouldn't want my answer to represent it because God knows I have been nothing but blessed. My whole path, these 33 years have been nothing but a blessing. I have never, never is a strong word, I've never dealt with racism, and I'm glad I didn't have to. And I don't know if it's because of my blessings, I don't know if it's, but it is my reality. So I would have to say, not only did I thought it was over, I still believe it's over, but obviously it isn't.
So you've never experienced any offensive behavior from any other color or?
No, sir.
Wow.
But
you are blessed.
But you see what's going on even in your city, New Orleans, with Alton Sterling.
Yeah.
During Katrina, the officers that killed those and ended up in jail. So I know you say you're not paying attention to it.
Yeah. But you see some of the things I see what's going on.
Right.
Yeah. As far as an opinion on what's going on, I mean, of course, we all want somebody to figure out what's going on first and then put a stop to it, or try to put a stop to it, or everybody come together and figure something out, and maybe just coming together is the solution. But we'd have to do that first. And obviously we have a bunch of differences, people feeling this way, people feeling that way. When you come to a person like me, my answer is always the same, man. My politics, my flag, my country, my nation, my world, all that is Reginae, Cameron, Neil, and his brother, Tony. That's it. That's my nation. That's my flag. That's my world. That's my protest. That's my don't protest. That's my everything. That's all that matters. Those 4 kids to me.
So go one level deeper with me. I remember one time I saw you after you had done a concert, I think it was in Westchester, different kind of neighborhood, but I asked you what the racial breakdown was of your audience. Do you remember this? And you told me the only black face you could see in the whole audience was your makeup artist. I believe that's what you said, and she was in the front row, right? A lot of white kids love rap.
Yes.
Explain that. What does that say to you? What's the message of it? What's the bigger picture of it?
I don't want to be bashed because I don't want to sound like I'm on the wrong if there is a side, but I thought that was clearly a message that there was no such thing as racism. That's what I thought that was.
Okay.
That was a perfect example. When I look out and I come up off the stage, when I'm coming out the bottom of the stage of my show, when I'm on tour, and I'm in my stance or whatever, and I open my eyes and I see everybody. I don't have this type of crowd or that type of crowd. My crowd has always been everybody, thank God. And that's all I can answer for. So.
Do you think the younger generation, the millennials, do you think they're moving a little further away from the racism as opposed to where it used to be?
It's not cool to them.
Right.
It's not cool to them. It don't matter to them. And when it's so not cool that it doesn't even matter to them. You know, they're like, what? What? You know, they're like, what happened? And that's their response. That's the millennials' response.
But could it be that you're a musician, and obviously as an ex-professional athlete or as an entertainer, do you think they treat you differently? Although you are black, you are a prominent figure in the black community. Could that be?
That's why I said I'm sure it may be because of my blessings.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure that's why my path has been different.
Right.
But I'm be first to want to say I'm sure that it has a lot to do with it, but it also is the person that I am. I believe strongly that it's the person that I am.
You treat people a certain way.
Exactly.
Like I said, Wayne, I commend you. I'm glad you're speaking. You're not embellishing a story. Being from New Orleans, experiencing what you've been able to experience. I remember reading where you say you accidentally shot yourself, but racism is real. He knows it's real, although he hasn't experienced it.
With that said, that day,
yeah,
that I shot myself, the police, I was the only person in the house.
Right.
Police came through there. They knocked the doors down. I was on the floor.
Right.
They jumped over. They all hopped over me and went looking for the drugs and looking for this and that. It was a white police that came, ran up there and stopped and said, "What are y'all doing? Do y'all not see this baby on the floor?" And they said, "We called the ambulance. The ambulance." Say, "Ambulance, he has a hole in his chest." He picked me up. He brought me to the hospital himself. He was white.
Boy.
And it's sad when the commentators have to push the narrative because the guest won't.
Yeah. He wanted to avoid saying racism is a real issue, but they made sure they kept on saying, he's saying racism is real, even though he hasn't experienced it. It's like, he didn't even say that.
No, they were legitimately putting words in his mouth.
Yeah. It's almost like when you watch Uncle Tom 2, I have to promote this movie because it's kind of like you have to line up with the narrative. It's the same thing, Candace Owens movie, The Greatest Lie Ever Sold.
Mm-hmm.
You have every corporation had to accept this woke ideology, or else you were racist. You have to put up with it. You have to give life to it. There was a friend of mine who, she called me, a white girl, and she called me, and we were in relationship before I got married and so on. What happened to her, she had a few black friends. This is a married woman with children now. A few black friends of hers came to her during this George Floyd period and saying that she needs to protest She needs to speak against it. She needs to do something in support of black people, or else she's racist. You know, that lady called crying. She said, James, we were in a relationship, yada yada yada, da 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 da. Am I a racist person? She herself began to wonder, like, am I racist? She was weeping like a baby. And I had to tell her, I don't know what this man told you and where he got his ideology from. You're not the person that's not you. You're not racist. Because you don't support Black Lives Matter doesn't necessarily make you racist. And it's like that was the theory. That was the theory.
And that's like one of their main tactics is they berate you and berate you and berate you to the point where they have you questioning your own morals and beliefs. And
that was
it's
wrong.
like it's like no. You have to stand strong for something.
Yeah.
You have to draw a line in the sand and say here and no further.
That's right.
I'm not going to stand for this.
You have to say no, and you have to put your foot down, because they will just keep on coming at you.
And what that one narrator was talking about in New Orleans after Katrina, what happened was the people he was talking about that got locked up were going around looting houses and businesses after Katrina. It wasn't like they were, innocent people just getting locked up for no reason.
That's the problem. That's a huge difference. This is where context matters. You have to get the rest of the story correct.
And that's what they try to do is obfuscate the true context of everything that's happening. They just only want you to see it from one perspective.
Yeah.
And that's their perspective. But no, you have to look at the broader picture. You have to open up and see the broader picture. Otherwise, you're never going to understand what's going on, and you're going to fall for every piece of garbage that they feed you. And that's where I think a lot of people fall into that trap.
That's right. That's right. It's crazy. And I think as a Caucasian man, ethnicity, like you said, we have one race, but we have different ethnicity. But if any person is listening here and you are white, and I know majority of those that are on this channel are white, just like Little Wayne says, the most of the support that I get from this channel are coming from white folks. It's like, I don't think I have a single member from my channel that is black. I don't think, with 26,000 subscribers, I think few of my subscribers, it doesn't even make 1,000 of them, maybe under 100 of them might be blacks. All the other ones are different race and Caucasian, largely. I read my analytics and I can tell. And even the members, I have 11 members right now who are supporting us monthly. All of them are white. So I don't think there's any white person supporting this channel. There's any black person supporting this channel. I don't think it matters. It's not about skin color for me. It's all about what you see and what you like, and whether you support or you don't support. Maybe I'm not yet. I have yet to be discovered by more black folks. That could be another thing too. But I've noticed whenever you're speaking, like I'm speaking in this channel, a lot more conservative talking points. You don't get a lot of black conservatives or anybody who's leaning toward conservatism. They don't get more support coming from black community. That's just a fact. You just, as soon as you start touching conservative stuff,
and that's the sad part is that it always hasn't been the way of things.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things you'll find in Uncle Tom and Uncle Tom 2 is that wasn't always the case.
Yeah.
Hola.
Hola.
¿Cómo estás?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, so we have some Spanish, of course, and we have some. We have a lot of in this channel. I think we have about a good 3,000 to 4,000 of our members are from Filipino, because I've done some reaction video to that Filipino guy. Is it Bobby Valenciano? Yeah. So anyway, Gary Valenciano. So anyway, yeah, I think we have to stop with this race color business, and I think the more we talk about it, the more life we give to it, because it's just that.
And that's exactly. There's a video where oh, what's his name? The guy with the real smooth narrator voice.
Mm.
You know who I'm talking about? I can't.
I have no idea.
He played God in Bruce Almighty.
Mm.
What is his name?
I can't think of who, but I have an idea because I did watch Bruce Almighty. By yeah, I've seen that before.
Anybody in chat help me out?
Yeah, anybody in the chat, let us know. Really? So you're saying you even in Spain you're suffering from the same identity politics here? Division over there too. It's crazy because it's a problem. It's a human problem. It's not so much a color problem. It's everywhere. It's in Haiti, and all the folks in Haiti are white are black people. I'm sorry.
And that's the thing is that's what the people in power want is, and that's that's the pressure point that they know they have to play in order to divide us and keep us fighting amongst ourselves, so that they don't see the power grab that they're doing to push their agendas.
That's right. Because if we put our head together, they can't.
If we come together as one, they wouldn't be able to stand against us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I see this. It's a spirit. Go ahead.
My point was he said in an interview, he actually said that they asked him, well, what do you think of, how do we stop racism? And he's like, quite simply, just stop talking about it.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, yes.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. Actually, that's a good video to do in the future. Maybe, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Stop talking about it.
He's like, just stop talking about it.
Yep, simple as that.
Because
he doesn't know.
Issue.
Yeah, he doesn't he doesn't know what that is, because he is, as a black man, he is so famous, so big, and he's involved in so many different things. It's like, for Morgan Freeman, like, what are you talking about? Because I'm just making money.
It's like people, they don't. I hate to say it, but the black community doesn't realize the opportunities afforded to them. And when you can turn around and go to school on a full scholarship over any other ethnicity,
mm-hmm.
and you don't even have to have the best grades.
Affirmative action.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that policy in and of itself is racist.
Of course it is, because it robs everybody else, especially now. A lot of Chinese are doing exceptionally well. They themselves are being told, there are too many of yous and your ACT scores are too high. You have to allow more black people, inclusion and so on.
Yeah. Inclusion and diversity.
And diversity. Now, but the thing is, some of these people that are going into these colleges, they're not doing good. They are bailing out. They
usually fail within the first 2 years.
Yeah. And you're right. I can tell you, so many young men, even where we live now, they try to go to school and they just drop out. They don't have the ability to go through the entire workload that it takes to be successful. And I know college is not for everyone, but again, the system that we have now, in a so-called trying to help black people, we actually hold them back even more. Accountability and responsibility, like Jordan Peterson says all the time, is what more of our black men need today. They need to be held accountable and responsible. They need to be taught how to be successful. They don't need to be catered, cuddled. They don't need any more handouts. That's exactly what's killing us.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
I mean, you look at the Native American tribes and look at what handouts did to them.
Hey, Morning Flame. That's my wife. That's Andrea.
Good morning, Morning Flame.
Morning Flame.
Good evening.
Yeah, that's Andrea. Yeah, look at this. Acts 17:26 says, God have made of one blood all nations, to dwell on the face of the earth. I shared this verse, and I was in the streets of Reading, Pennsylvania, where we live. There were these black Hebrew Israelites, and part of their message is that they are the true they are the true Israel, and they changed their names and so on. And we can debate all day about black Israelites. I don't necessarily fall for it, but I think Anyway, you want to call yourself Israel, go ahead. But anyway, but the issue that I had was it was just how racist they were. It was like they wanted to paint the black people as special. All black people are special. Jesus came to die for them. They are God's true people. All white people are the Esau's. They call them the Esau's from the line of Esau. They are the white devils, they call them. And they were preaching this stuff. They were preaching this stuff on the street. And here I am. I had my little steps to Christ, and I was me, my wife, and a couple of friends, and we after church we usually go out in the streets and we pass out, literature and stuff like that, trying to speak to people about the Lord. So we had these little. I had my little steps to Christ, and on the steps to Christ was a picture of a white Jesus. Oh boy.
I bet that went over like a lead balloon.
Most people don't even care. They just take the book and walk away. But when they saw the white Jesus on, they begin to question me. Here goes this black man, this Uncle Tom guy. We're gonna try to convert this guy. And I'm like, boy, you came to the wrong person for that.
Barking up the wrong tree on that one, buddy.
Yeah. So they came and they were trying to indoctrinate me in their Hebrew Israelite teachings and so on. I let them preach. So all of the verses were out of context. They do a whole lot of yelling, a whole lot of speaking. They got this way of doing it. They call a verse. Somebody reads it, and as the person reads, they stop and interpret the verse. They don't take into consideration historical application, contextual application. They don't take into consideration the culture in which the verse was written. They make a personal application of today. It's called eisegesis instead of exegesis. So they're inserting their own opinion and perspective of today's world into biblical narrative where it doesn't always line up. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, brother, you ain't gonna get me with that one, because I know proof text. I know how to properly study my Bible. You're not gonna get me. So I let him talk. And he went on, and he's trying to boast my pride. And I said, yeah, I'm from Haiti and so on, and yada, yada. They didn't know. I never said I was a minister. I never said I was in church. All that I know, I had some literature and stuff like that, and he wanted to convert me. Goes on. Yada, 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 yada. So talk about all these white people, how bad they are. Our black people are so amazing. Even the Haitians, you guys are Israelites and everything, and boasting my pride. And I'm like, going with my ego. I'm like, So when he finished,
let's fluff you up.
Yeah, when he finished, I'm like, all right, thank you for that nice cushion you laid for me, because I'm gonna whip you. I just
you cut out.
Yeah, I took 2 verses. Did you hear me now?
Yeah.
So I took 2 simple verses. I took this one in Acts 17, and I took one in Galatians, where there is no Jew, no Greek, no male, no female, for we are all one in Christ. And I took that one here. When I say by one blood, I say how many bloods. And I, the method that I use in Bible study, I'm asking questions and make you come up with your own answers from the Bible. And I says, okay, God says he have made. Number one, who has made all humanity? God did. Who did? God did. I say, amen. And I said, so how many blood did God use to create all nations according to that verse? One blood. I say, how many blood? One blood. I say, yeah, amen. Doesn't that sound like, what was that guy's name? What was his name? Who died? The Rastafarian, the one blood. Anyway, so I said, God used one blood. So God made humanity. God made one blood. Out of one blood, he made all the entire human race, regardless of ethnicity and skin color. So after I'm finished, I said, he made them to dwell where? On the face of the earth. And then I asked him a question. I said, what in the world are you talking about, brother? And you had to see their face. they went from happy-go-lucky to like, how dare you questioning my doctrine? And I'm like, we done arguing, right? Because I'm using one single verse, I'm destroying your entire narrative. And I say, you have no argument. You're gonna sit here and trying to make these white people feel bad. There were so many Caucasian people walking around the city that day. These guys were calling out all these nasty words. Some of these people will stop by and turn their head and say, oh, I can't believe he just said that. And they just walk away. And they will just cuss at them and yell at them and scream at them. And I'm sitting there with my little white Jesus. I say, God bless you. God loves you. Read this book. Like the people will accept the book and walk away. And I'm like, these guys think they are better than somebody else because they have a darker skin complexion. I'm like, bruh, you are living in a lie. Jesus didn't come to die for black people. Jesus came to die for the sin of the world. What part of the world don't you understand, brother? Why are you twisting the verse, brother? Like you talking as if you are the only race. Let's just say all white people disappear right now. Do you think you can live? Do you think your race can survive right now without the help of all others? anyway, we can go on, and I'm like, enough with that racism. You're not gonna get me with that. And that was the end of the argument. Last time I saw them again, they just kind of like, I said hello, they don't even talk back, kind of thing. They're like, there goes that guy. He's like, the guy
We're just not gonna talk to him.
Yeah, we're just not gonna say anything to him. No, they didn't even try. And we went on and we just share our gospel, pray with people, and give them hope, and we went home. And we were like, we don't care about that, because what we know is that Jesus came to die for the sin of the entire world. Skin color doesn't matter to him. There's no respect of persons with God, male, female, Greek, Jew, bond free. We are all one in Christ Jesus. Like, so this stuff you're talking about is not gospel. It is more social. That's the social gospel. That's the other gospel. That's not the biblical gospel in which I am saved. The one that saves me is the same one that allows me to be a part of a church today, alongside of my family, a church that is predominantly Caucasian folks. They don't see our skin color. They love us to death. When we got our issues going on, we got problems going on, they stand with us, back us up, pray for us, support us financially. So I don't know what you're talking about, because for me, it's like my world and your perspective of racism doesn't exist. I live in a channel where majority of our friends are Caucasian people. I have a guy on the channel right now who's Caucasian.
Co-host is Caucasian. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
What are you talking about? Like, what? Like, my senior pastor is Caucasian. We have no problems among us. Like, please, we care about we're trying to save the world, trying to minister to the sick.
We got bigger problems.
Listen, man, I'm trying to minister here. I got this YouTube channel. Things are growing, first by the grace of God. Secondly, is because there's a lot of white folks actually loving this channel. If it was for the help of black folks, this channel probably would not even exist. Most black folks don't even know there is a Look and Live channel. Obviously, it's like So give us a break. When you're talking about all that racism stuff and the way you talk about it in the fabric as if this system is racist, I'm like, yes, give us a break. You got Lil Wayne, who's 99 point something % of his supporters and people listen to his music are white. All rappers, all of their supporters are white. So enough already. We can't take it. So my wife says, I think racism is real among individuals, and they use it to divide and focus on white versus black. Yeah, I agree. I think there are some places where it does exist. There are some places of work where certain people in certain position at the job that are somewhat racist. But I've seen it's not just among blacks. I've seen it done against Spanish. I've seen it done against Chinese folks. So it's not just so much among black people. But I think in person, individually, there is racism. But as a system, I don't think so. I don't think so. When you look at like the NBA, just the football games on average, like who are the majority of the fans that are supporting these players? Majority of the players,
and that's something I wanted to mention is during that interview with them, they brought up the whole Colin Kaepernick thing. I'm like, that guy's a freaking joke.
Yeah, he is. He is.
He's kneeling for something he doesn't know anything about. Number one, because all his facts that he was spouting were completely wrong the entire time he was doing it. Then he leaves the NFL in protest, puts out this ridiculous video about how the NFL is like slavery, and then begs the NFL for his job back. It's like,
but he was supported.
Are you out of your mind?
But again, he was supported by Nike, which is a white-owned company again.
Mainly manufactured in China.
Yeah, that's another thing. We can talk about that all day. So again, it's just crazy. It goes another point my wife made here. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he shouldn't be highlighted and used as every scapegoat for every issue. And that's really where our issue is, right? Is the way they are using gay trans hate now. There we go.
And that's exactly the problem. That's exactly what they're doing is if you don't agree with them, you're a racist, period.
Yeah, no. And that's not true. That's not true. It's like they're trying to create racism where it doesn't exist. What does Louder Recorder says? Racism is on a lifeline. So the next thing they have to use now is the
It ain't on a lifeline, it's on life support.
It's on life support. There you go. Life support. Yeah. It's like beep, beep. It's dying. It's dying. I mean, if you were to ask me, I'll say it's dead, but some blacks will say otherwise, man, like, I don't know. I think the closest you will get to racism from my perspective, you have to go dig for it. Or some old individuals in a nursing home, probably, old head. Some of them can still have that, I'm not comfortable with a black person kind of thing.
I mean,
but you have to dig for that, though.
Maybe in the backwoods, in a rural countryside somewhere,
maybe
where they've rarely ever see a black person.
And
they're
very
better yet, you go into the ghettos of the city. There's where you'll see some real racism. You put a white person in a ghetto, you're going to see some real racism there.
I agree. And I don't think many of these people who live in country that are racist will go as far as killing a person because of their color. They won't go that far. They might touch. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it has been done, at least in our time today. I can't really say.
There's actually a video out where this old white guy was walking down the street and some black kids run up behind him and take a brick and throw it in the back of his head, and he ended up dying from it.
Yeah, I agree when it comes from blacks toward white violence, but I'm talking about if a black man goes into one of those countryside
gotcha.
Yeah, even if there are racists there, they're very careful to use violence to hurt that black person. They're very much careful. They might taunt you, which I've seen done. They might use their cars and use their flags, which I've seen that was done to me. So they would flash their flag, and stuff like that, and use their big cars and make a whole bunch of noise in front of the house, but they just go away.
Right.
Nothing to the point where you say that my life is at risk kind of thing. I never actually felt that way. Yeah. Good point.
Good point, Debbie. When everything's racist, nothing's racist.
There we go. So I'm gonna listen to this one, guys. We're just gonna do the first minute of this one, and guys, we wanna hear your thought and perspective. This video shows that there's been some really shady stuff happen online, and this is a video on my channel, by the way. You can check it out. It's 18 minutes long. I'm not gonna do a whole 18 minutes here because we gotta get to this debate after this. So this video, we have JP and then the debate. This video shows exactly some of the things we're talking about with social media, censorship, and removing people's content, what they agree and disagree with. And I think this video is going to shine a spotlight on what is happening. And again, I want to say, first of all, this is not a new knowledge. It's not a new knowledge for me. It is confirmed, but I knew this already. I knew it was happening to my channel and many other channels, especially black conservative, any conservative channels, actually, they seem to had an issue with that. Okay, so that's another thing. So take a listen to this.
We thanks so much for coming on. This seems like a really important story, which is for some reason being ignored. Do we get the outlines right? The administration is working with the tech companies to censor people.
Yeah, that's right. Tucker, we looked at really hundreds of documents that paint a vivid picture of the FBI, the DHS, closely collaborating with the top social media platforms, Twitter and Facebook, to censor various forms of content under the banner of fighting disinformation. And the story shows a couple of things. One, it shows what you just mentioned, a very cozy relationship between the government and these tech giants. There's those monthly meetings that you just mentioned, but also just very cozy emails and texts. Not a very adversarial relationship. We looked at one text where Microsoft executive texts Jen Easterly, the top disinfo director at DHS appointed by Biden, basically saying the private sector needs to get more comfortable with the government. They're closely collaborating on reports talking about the expanded role for DHS in censoring a really broad collection of topic areas of policy and political topics. And, just broadly speaking, the story also just looks at the mission creep of DHS. This is an agency that was founded in the aftermath of 9/11 to combat foreign terror threats of Al-Qaeda and the like. But over the last 5 years, it's kind of evolved in its mission. It's moved towards fighting disinfo, and their justification is, disinformation radicalizes the homeland. It can lead to disruptions in public health or in political violence. So they have a justification. We have these documents, and they're pushing forward with this broad censorship agenda.
A man by the name of Dr. Shiva Ayadora discovered something shocking.
Before we move on to the next part of this video, are you hearing what's happening here?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Like, this is all due to what was set out in the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act was supposed to be a temporary piece of legislation. It wasn't supposed to be a permanent piece of legislation.
Yeah.
It needs to be revoked.
You know what? You also right, because this came about after 9/11 under the heading of dealing with, those terrorists. And they needed to somewhat have a much closer observation with the NSA and so on. And then here comes Eric Snowden exposing what was going on. And for most of us, we were like, yo, that is crazy. We can't believe this is happening. And the man had to flee to Russia. I eventually heard that he just got his citizenship from Russia now after all these years and so on. And we messed up his entire life because he exposed the wickedness of the NSA and what these people were doing, spying on American people. So in other words, you had a system put in place under the Patriot Act to supposedly help Americans. And when this stuff is all over, you still have that system in place. What do you do with it? Well, you can't use it against your enemies so much. You start to use it against your own people.
Yeah.
So this is how they end up using Facebook and the rest of these so-called social media platforms to carry out their dirty deeds. So in essence, these guys have a backdoor to these platforms.
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy business, man.
It's dirty business. Like, and that's the thing is it's like WikiLeaks just had a major dump. Like, somebody hit a dead man switch.
Oh.
I don't know all of what was contained in the dump, but there was a huge, massive information dump from WikiLeaks. So that kind of makes me wonder, is like, what all got I haven't looked into it yet, so that's something I need to look into.
I myself need to check that out, because that's very interesting to me, especially when we
and I'm wondering if this was part of it.
Yeah, this stuff is concerning to me, because if we don't push back against this narrative, we're not even going to be able to speak what we're talking about right now. Like, this is your freedom of speech is under attack. And if your freedom of speech is gone, so goes your freedom of assembly, your freedom of religion, right? The right to express yourself, right to bear arms. Everything goes. It's like, if we don't protect free speech, like, we are in serious trouble. Like Matt Walsh did earlier when we were talking, and I think he made a good point, and I'm trying to say it before. There are these people out there who are like, we need to protect hate speech. We need to stop people from bullying people and saying things about this and about that, right? And they're using the social media platform to somewhat curtail and regulate speech that they do not agree with. But now, here's the thing. How come the rappers get to speak freely about whatever they want and put a beep to it, even though there are serious results happening? That gets ignored. That doesn't become part of the conversation. We don't hear this as part of the political issue in which that needs to be addressed in the country. But we go after YouTubers. They go after the basic, the average person. I get chased after this stuff. Like,
yeah,
me,
exactly.
Listen, I am not even known in the world of YouTube. I have 26,000 subscribers. We have people that have million to 10 million subscribers. I mean, like, we have Joe Rogan with 12 something million subscribers. Like, you want to talk about people who are saying something? Like, I'm the least of your concern. Like, if you're worrying about a guy who's gonna get like probably 300 views per video on average, like, really?
Like, that's your concern. So you going after these individuals who controlling their speech, and others and celebrities and rappers who are saying all kind of nonsense. Their speech don't get canceled.
But see, the problem is this is the start of something. Your channel this is where it starts. This is how it starts, and this is how it builds, and this is how you grow momentum in that arena.
So it's kind of nip it in the bud kind of thing.
Exactly. Stop it before it starts.
Yeah. But the same people who say this will support other channels that are doing the exact thing that they're trying to oppose.
Yeah.
You know, the same Twitter platform.
You cut out.
Yeah, sorry. The same Twitter platform who says we need to protect hate speech. They have terrorists on their website. On Twitter. They have porn on Twitter. And that's not a problem. So it's like, okay, make it make sense. So this stuff is really
you can't make it make sense.
It doesn't, because it's politically motivated.
Like
it
I
is.
mean, you try to make it make sense, and like the more you try to make it make sense, the less it does.
Yeah, like we have a bunch of. There we go. We have some. We're talking about porn on, and they pop up all over the place so much in the room right now. So I'm trying to get rid of it.
Andrea makes a good point in that, you know, an old saying goes, when you don't stand for something and you don't stand up for others' rights and they come for you, you'll be the one saying, where's everybody to stand up for me?
Yeah. So there we go. So all freedom will be taken away one by one. Yeah.
That's exactly the type of government our forefathers warned us about.
You have to fight against this stuff. The thing is, as a minister, part of my concern is, as a Christian, part of our thing is we have to preach the gospel. Part of the gospel is we have to expose evil and elevate God. And part of elevating God is that you kind of have to offend other religion. You have to offend communities. You have to offend some individuals. And if you do not offend them, they will never be led to a place where they can accept the truth of the gospel, right?
Personally, I don't believe there's any such thing as hate speech. I just think there's speech that people hate.
That's Tom McDonald's for you. There's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate. So it's like, if people cannot speak their views and they cannot share their perspective on things, they might as well don't even have one. And I like how, what was his name? Dr. Steve, his name was. I follow him online too. He was saying, if you control somebody's speech, you're controlling somebody's thoughts. Because thoughts are made of words. So in essence, when you delete somebody's speech online, for whatever the reason may be, you are saying that their thoughts don't matter.
Yep.
And there's something about the human spirit. When they are told that they cannot say or cannot think or cannot have their own perspective, it creates serious problems. The thing is, you know, for when you study history, even the Protestant Reformation, like the reason there was a Protestant Reformation is because not the early church, the church in the Dark Ages, the Catholic Church system was using political power to control the speech of Protestants or anybody who did not agree with the church. This is why in the 1500s, the princes of Spires in Germany came together and said, enough is enough. We are going to protest against the abuses of the church. Martin Luther, John Calvin, Wesley, and all these guys, they all came together into this melting spot. The goal was to protect free speech. The goal was for people to have a different view than what the church was proposing. It's the same thing we're fighting now. It's from a different format, from a different angle. It's like, I can't even be a Christian. I can even preach to you if I don't have the ability to do so. And these people are looking to play around with this one thing that should not be touched. This is one dice you don't touch. And when they start playing with this, we don't even have a right to share the gospel.
It's like someone once said, the First Amendment is first for a reason. The second is there in case the first doesn't work.
Yeah, that was who was it that said that? That was Dave Chappelle. Yeah, I'm gonna let them continue here. Okay, we're gonna take a few minutes of this and then we'll pause and move on.
Shiva Ayadora.
Broad censorship agenda.
A man by the name of Dr. Shiva Ayadora discovered something shocking. Dr. Ayadora is no slouch when it comes to technology. He's the man that actually invented email. So he's the reason I spent half of my day in my computer, because this guy, he invented email. According to the Gateway Pundit, over the summer, this good doctor that created email discovered something shocking, something buried inside of Twitter called the Partner Support Portal. Now, what he found was a special portal that offered certain government entities like the Department of Homeland Security or the CIA special access to Twitter. Now, what do I mean by that? They could actually, with this special access portal, they could flag and delete ask them to delete content basically for any reason they liked. If they disliked it, they could go into their special access portal because they're the Department of Homeland Security, they're the CIA, they're another government entity. It didn't even have to be at the federal level. It could be at the state level. And they could delete content. Tell Twitter, delete this. We don't want this. We don't like this person's tweet. Get rid of it. Deplatform this person. Twitter called it their Twitter partner status. It's way better than having a blue check verified account, because this was direct access to Twitter to let them know that, what to post or delete what they deem inappropriate and what should be flagged, what should be censored, etc. So this is a big deal. And why haven't we heard a lot about this? I don't remember hearing anything about this. A few dispatches in early 2020 about this as it related to the election. But other than that, nothing. I mean, so then this doctor decides to run for the U.S. Senate in Massachusetts, and as a Republican. Now, he was being censored on Twitter. So he made allegations of voter fraud, and he tweeted about this fraud on Twitter. But you wouldn't know it because then his tweets were deleted and removed after the government took them down. Yes, his tweets were deleted at the direction of the government employees of the Massachusetts Secretary of State's office. Hey, go into that Twitter portal and take this guy's tweets down. He's a political opponent and we don't like what he's saying. So take them down. Unbelievable. Like, this is happening in the United States. So discovering this, then, Dr. Ayadora filed a federal lawsuit by himself, alleging that his federal rights were violated when the government silenced his political speech in order to affect an election. And that's where it sits. So it sits there now, right?
Again, Michael Cohen, he went to jail for this, like for hiding information that would have been unfavorable to Trump. And then this is happening to Republican candidates. Like, we literally try to impeach the president for this. And this, okay.
And it's not just this one it's not just one Republican candidate, because you'll learn later in this Intercept story, it's more than that. And the only reason we even learn about this information is because of lawsuits filed because of these Republican candidates. So yeah, they deleted his stuff. And he files this federal civil rights lawsuit, says his federal rights were violated when the government silenced his political speech in order to affect an election. I mean, does it get any bigger than this? An election was faked because they deleted information about this candidate, suppressed his content, kept him quiet in order to promote another candidate. So,
I mean, okay. The FBI literally went out of their way to say that what Hillary Clinton did with her email server was bad but not actionable, just a poor judgment. But they did it at a time because they did not want to affect the election by indicting her, but they affected it anyway by talking about it. Like, we know now there should not be government intervention in any election, and yet it's still this. Like, this is worse than anything that we've been fighting over around Hillary and Michael Cohen and Trump, and that's much worse. Go ahead.
And it's bigger than this because what they also did is they padded the following numbers of the left and made them look like they were bigger than they were. They suppressed the following counts of conservatives, and what they did is they made the left look more popular. They promoted what they were saying and completely deleted what the conservatives were saying. So that, in essence, could overturn an election, because when people go onto Twitter, they don't know, but they're seeing more information from the left. It's like, oh, I got to pick the side that's winning. So they falsely made it look like they were winning every conversation when actually the other side was just being suppressed. So it's even bigger than one person.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is bigger than one person. It's a whole machine, and that's what's so sad about this story. So again, Twitter has a special portal where the government bureaucrats can censor content they don't like, but it gets much worse. So over the past 48 hours, investigative journalists Lee Fang and Ken Klippenstein released a report at The Intercept that is arguably just as bad as what Edward Snowden found at the NSA. And I would maybe even argue worse. Their report is called Truth Cops. It's an amazing piece, and I encourage all of you to read this report in depth from these two investigative reporters, Lee Fang and Ken Klippenstein. And what their reporting shows is how the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, the Department of Justice, Democratic operatives, and business elites were working directly with Facebook to silence voices, silent content that they didn't like. So let's go through some of the key points in this piece, because it's astonishing. And by the way, the only reason
I just want to say,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, and I agree with you fully that this is worse, because with the NSA, they were just taking our data. They were taking it. Yes, they were housing it, but they weren't really taking anything of ours down. Now they're actively going and deleting our speech and taking things off the internet. So this is much worse, in my opinion. As well.
And affecting elections.
And removing conversations as well. So basically, in this open platform, this town square where we could have debate and discussion and all of that kind of the coffee shop debates, they're saying these debates are allowed and these people should be rounded up and taken out of here.
So let's go through some of the points here. And by the way, the only reason we know this, in addition to their reporting, is the fact that a separate lawsuit was filed in the state of Missouri. Senate candidate Eric Schmidt filing a lawsuit on his censorship. And that's where we get some of this remarkable information on the Facebook side of things. So they have this special portal in much the same way that Twitter has a special access portal. So too does Facebook. And it says in the piece, there's a formalized process for government officials to directly flag content on Facebook or Instagram and request that it be throttled or suppressed through a special Facebook portal that requires a government or law enforcement email to use.
So you can go to this. I did today, facebook.com/xtakedowns/login.
And here it is. We have a screenshot of it. Here's the Facebook portal.
And there it is. You can get in. You can request access with a government email address. I don't have one, so I was not put in, and I would be scared to go in there.
DOJ, yeah. If you have Natalie at DOJ.gov, you might be able to get access to it.
Yeah,
isn't that amazing?
I didn't
Facebook
try.
builds a secret backdoor, secret portal, and so does Twitter, where you can access this information. So I mean, it's remarkable. Now, Lee Fang.
Boy, where do we go from here?
So does anybody know Hillary Clinton's email address?
I wonder if she has access to.
Oh, I'm sure she does. And that's the thing is, if they have this on Twitter, they have this on Facebook, they've got to have it on YouTube too.
Of course. Absolutely. And I think YouTube is being used by some of these people. Because you have to look at it like this, because
where do you think all these copyright claims come from? And how they're getting up so quick?
Yeah, and these guidelines are changing consistently. You can't even keep up with them.
It's virtually impossible.
Yes. You don't know what they're going to strike you for. You have no idea.
And they don't tell you.
No.
When you try to find out, it's like, well, you got to strike. You're just going to have to suffer.
It's true. I got 2 strikes that I got no explanation for. I'm still trying to understand why I was striked. But I'll tell you what. the thing about uh the thing about the truth is that you can oppress it, suppress it, dumb it down. Eventually, it sticks out its ugly head. It's like, that's what I've learned about truth is that you can hide it for a period of time, but it's not going away. I've heard what was that quotation? I think somebody says it's like the truth is like the sun. You can cover it for a period of time, but eventually, but it's not
It's
going away.
gonna rise.
It's gonna rise back. So some of these people they think they can do what they do in secret as if the light is not gonna shine on them. And I think another thing that a lot of people make a mistake about again, and I think it's warning for all of us too. God knows all, God sees all. You see, if you're doing something evil and for some reason you haven't been exposed, you haven't gotten caught.
Cut out.
My mic just it does this on its own. I don't know why. It is because maybe because mercy is giving you a second chance. That's simply what it is. Mercy lingers with us so that we can clean up and we don't get embarrassed. It's not because we are good. It's because God is good. Here is the
Giving you
thing.
that opportunity to course correct.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we oftentimes confuse God's mercy with his righteousness, with his justice. Sometimes we think the reason I can do this is because I can outdo the system. I'm smarter than the rest of them, or I just can't get caught. You are mistaken, my friend. Here is the thing. I love this. Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight. For all things are naked and open unto the eye of him in whom we have to do. So some of these people think they can do what they do as if nobody's watching. Even when nobody's watching, God is watching. And every now and then he says, okay, enough. Let that stuff be exposed. I eventually saw an article that just came out 2 days ago. I'm going to use some symbols here because the powers that be, the gatekeepers. They say that all the regulation that happened under the sea, the pestilence 19, now they are coming out saying that it was all a big mistake. We just didn't know. We didn't have all the facts with us. That's why we did what we did. So in essence, they are admitting closing schools, shutting down businesses, and all the regulation that were passed. And people were protesting, crying, this is wrong. We call them names. We said they were stupid. We said they were crazy. We said they didn't understand because we're trying to save the world. The echo is happening. So sorry. So, okay, got it. So we called them all these names. And now they came back and say, we want amnesty. We want forgiveness. Let's all forgive each other for what happened during Pestilence 19 and all the regulation and mandates that were passed because we just didn't know. What do you mean you didn't know? All the people that were crying and speaking against this, all the people that were speaking out saying, this is wrong. The way you're going about this, the way we are treating people who lost their jobs because they did not go along with the syringe. You say they were crazy. Now, your truth is falling apart because eventually a lie can only stand for so long. The truth, the truth is rising to the surface. You know what? He said, guys, let's all forgive each other. Let's forget about this. This was one big mistake.
Oops, our bad.
Really? Like, sorry. I mean, we had to bury our family members here. Some of us lost our jobs.
And we couldn't visit them in the hospital when they passed away.
No, we could not. We were not allowed to. We were separated from our loved ones. You did this for 2 long years. When we were protesting, you strike our channels. We had to go on Rumble. We had to go on BitChute. We had to go all these different places, choose social so we can speak our views. We were not allowed to speak. You did not welcome another perspective. And now you want forgiveness? Now, don't get me wrong. God says we should forgive. That's not the forgiveness of the Bible. To forgive this wickedness and not address the root of this is only going to create more of this type of stuff. Like that, we can't accept that ever again.
Mm-mm.
And I know recently at my job they were coming out saying we have the flu vaccine now, and I said, get away from me. You are not poking me with another needle till the day I die.
Nope.
y'all done messed me up, lied to me, tricked and deceived me, make me feel guilty, and when I tried to speak out against it, I came out with a video. The video was struck down within 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
That video had 20,000 views within the span of 3 days. I don't have that on my channel ever.
Yeah.
And the video was his exposure. I still have it on my phone. I'm gonna put it on my Rumble channel now. I think it's ready because I came out and I spoke about what I saw with these eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, they struck it down. YouTube struck it down. Facebook struck it down. That video made it all the way to Israel. There were other channels that were playing it. In Egypt, they were playing the video. They were. I was, I was known as the nursing home whistleblower. But now, all of a sudden, you want to come back and talk about please forgive us. Oh, give us a break. I don't.
I got something you can forgive, and it's really hairy.
Go ahead.
And I use it as a big cushion to sit on when I'm watching videos.
I like how you put that. That was very diplomatic. You see, that's what I was telling you about last time when we were talking about Donald Trump. If Donald Trump knew how to put his word perfectly, I don't think they would be able to catch him so much. He was too blunt. He was too straightforward with it, and he hit people hard.
Yeah, but you know what? That's what his base likes, though. I mean, that's what we like about him. He's straightforward and to the point. I mean, and
I agree.
Yeah, granted, that turns a lot of people off, but that's mainly what his base wants. We don't want somebody who's going to beat around the bush. We want somebody to tell us like it is.
Yep, all that fluff doesn't work.
We appreciate the transparency.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm telling you, man.
And I think his biggest mistake and something that he learned from his first term was that he trusted the wrong people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. That was part of his problem. Yeah, Elon Musk, I don't know. I don't have much hope when it comes to that either. I'm like, I mean, another rich guy. I'm not trusting in man because they might even start in a positive and eventually it goes back to the same old principle. Yeah. This stuff has to be changed by laws. I think people have to it has to come to a point where we can vote for what's happening on these social media platforms. It has to come down to that point.
Basically, what it boils down to is we need to reform Section 230.
Okay, what does it say?
Section 230 is what allows YouTube, places like YouTube and Facebook to act as like a public forum.
Yeah.
But the thing is what they don't realize is they're either supposed to act like a public forum and allow people to say what they want, or they're acting like a publisher and fall under different guidelines. But the problem is channel things like YouTube and Facebook try to ride the line between the two and do both.
That's the problem.
And that's why we need to reform Section 230 to delineate very specifically what it means to be a public platform, to where people can put out the content they want to put out without being struck down and being an editor to where you can say, okay, well, this content is acceptable and this content isn't.
Yeah. Yeah, but they like to keep it as if this is a private owned company, which they are, but private owned company that are under the management of government.
Actually, no, they're not. YouTube's publicly traded.
Oh. Wow. You see, this is that government overreach thing that people are talking about. Don't tread on me, because that's the reason why we are in this mess. Like, back off. And I think the result of what we see now, and it goes back to what you said, the Patriot Act, because when 9/11 happened, we lost a piece of our freedom.
And we were willing to give it up.
We gave it up for safety.
And you know what Benjamin Franklin said?
You don't deserve either one, right?
Those who give up a piece of liberty for safety desire neither.
Yeah, you deserve neither of them. And I think that's exactly what happened. We've surrendered in the name of protection. And now we are reaping the consequences of that until today. And I'm still have my doubts concerning to what really happened on that day. Anyway, let's move on. Lord have mercy.
We're not going to get into that.
Let's not get into that.
Strike.
Yeah. Let's move on. JP, what you got for us? Elon Musk taking over Twitter. Let's take a listen to this.
Did you guys hear Elon took over Twitter? A lot of leftists are melting down because an African American is the new owner of Twitter. But I love it. Life will never be the same. Elon's taken over. Free speech will be preserved after all. I think this is the most important moment in American history since July 4th, 1776. But it's also more important than that moment. I am certain all our problems are solved now. Thanks to Elon, conservatives finally have a voice on Twitter again. No more censorship. Our country's saved from a communist takeover. We don't need to worry about asteroidal impacts anymore. And I'm pretty sure my chickens are laying more eggs now. As soon as he took over, he walked into Twitter headquarters in San Francisco with a kitchen sink. Such a power move. Do you know what that symbolizes?
No.
Well, a kitchen sink is where you take a shit and it goes down the drain. So he was sending a message that all the shit employees at Twitter are gonna go down the drain.
You shit in your kitchen sink? Why don't you use a toilet?
Because I don't have a toilet in my kitchen. That would be gross. Elon went in and cleaned house right away. He fired the leftist CEO and CFO who were responsible for banning and censoring countless people, including President Trump. I just don't know why he stopped at firing them. I thought he might have done like a public execution or something, like using his flamethrower to fire him. Free speech. Do you think Elon's gotten too soft? Next, I hope Elon buys the World Economic Forum. I'd love to see Klaus Schwab's lizard face when Elon walks in with a kitchen sink to fire him. Elon said he's gonna fire 75% of all the crybaby Twitter employees. Dude, I think he should fire 100% of them.
Then how would Twitter be able to run?
Elon could just do all their jobs. He'd be better at them. I think the biggest difference that Elon's already made in preserving America's future is causing every leftist in our country to have an emotional meltdown. And the beauty of watching them use Twitter to express their emotional meltdown about Elon taking over Twitter is a masterpiece of a lack of self-awareness. A true work of art. It's like watching someone write a book about why books are bad and listening to them cry about how no more ideological censorship is going to end free speech. That'd be like listening to the fire department cry about how water is causing fires. And right away, Elon locked out existing Twitter engineers and brought in Tesla engineers to look at the code. So I'm pretty sure that soon we'll have ludicrous mode on Twitter.
What will that even do?
I don't know. It'll be pretty cool, won't it? This morning, my wife got angry at me because I called her every derogatory name in the book.
That's mean. Why would you do that?
No more censorship. Elon's in charge. Elon's already announced he's going to put an end to Twitter's permanent ban policy, which means he's going to reinstate Trump on Twitter. And then Elon will reinstate Trump as president.
I don't think Elon can do that.
He's the CEO. He can do whatever he wants. My tree fell over about a month ago, but I think by the end of the week, Elon will have it reinstated. Oh, did you hear the day after Elon took over Twitter, someone broke into Nancy Pelosi's house and beat up her husband? Do you think that was Elon?
Probably not.
I don't know. It was in San Francisco. He might be making moves to end insider trading. Think about it. I used to have knee pain, but not since Elon took over. No coincidence there. The deep state's freaking out about Elon owning Twitter. That's why Biden's sending in the DOJ to investigate him. But what's Biden gonna do when Elon sends Tesla engineers in to investigate him? I'm pretty sure Elon's not gonna make us pay income taxes anymore, because they were unconstitutional in the first place. I think Elon should make an algorithm that makes every liberal automatically follow the Babylon Bee, just to piss him off. I suspect that by the end of the week, Elon's gonna release all the files on JFK. Then we'll find out who really did it.
JP is starting trouble again, Darth.
Oh, jeez.
He's starting trouble again. Oh boy, I love it though. I love it. Even though I don't know where this Twitter business is going with Elon, I still think it's a beautiful move. You know, I kind of want to gloat for a minute and then let it fade. But it's
like, don't get me wrong. I'm hopeful.
Yes.
But I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yes, I like that. Yeah.
But I do like the power move of let that sink in.
Yeah. I mean, you saw the video of one of the Twitter person going to work kind of thing. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that.
Which one?
One of the girls that went to work that day. She was talking about what it's like to work for Twitter. And I'm not sure if you saw that. I have it on my channel. I can quickly put it up. It's only 1 minute video, but what I thought, really, that's what it means to work at Twitter. Okay, I need to get a job at Twitter myself. Yeah, I have it a 2 minutes video here. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, if you saw this.
I probably did. I just don't remember it.
Yeah, it was a 2 minutes video that I put out a couple months ago. There it is. Couple days ago. Let me mute myself.
You just can't help it. That's okay.
Welcome to a day in my life as a Twitter employee. So this past week, went to SF for the first time at a Twitter office, badged in. Honestly, took a moment to just soak everything in. What a blessing. Also started my morning off with an iced matcha from the perch. Then I had a meeting, so quickly scheduled one of these little pod rooms, which were so cool. They're literally noise canceling. Took my meeting, got ready for lunch. Look how delicious this food looks. Oh my goodness, I was so overwhelmed. Then made my way down to this log cabin area. I don't know what this is, but it was really cool. Played some foosball with my friends to kind of unwind a bit. Also found this really cool meditation room that I thought was super neat. I didn't do any yoga, but they have this yoga room if you are a yogi, so also thought that was really cool. Had a couple more meetings in the afternoon, had a ton of projects that we needed to knock out. Say hi to my teammates. Went to the library to kind of get some more work done. Obviously had to have our afternoon coffee, so made some espresso. And then before leaving for the day, had some red wine that's on tap. Went up to the rooftop and just honestly enjoyed the beautiful weather. So awesome trip.
Is she serious?
It's almost as if she's never seen the inside of the building.
Yeah, the way she talks about it. I thought, like, is this a vacation? Is she on vacation or something? Kind of giving us a rundown of that place she rented.
I'm like, seriously, have you never seen the inside of this building before?
Yeah.
And you work for this company?
Yeah, and she's giving us a rundown of that. Sounds like this is your day. This is your day-to-day thing.
Wow. There was one that Steven Crowder did where she's going throughout and she's like, I'm so cute and I'm so cute doing this cute. And like, lady, look, if you have to call yourself cute, that automatically makes you not cute. That's just how it works. You can't
Wow.
label yourself cute and have everybody think you're cute.
I'm so cute.
Like, either you're cute or you're not. You can't just say that you're cute and have everybody think you're cute.
If you have to
that's
tell
not
us
how it
that,
works.
if you have to tell us that 100 times, that's a sign that you probably don't think you are cute. You know, it's like, why you have to tell us that?
Yeah. Like, it's just the ego on these people. It just astounds me.
It is. It is. It's repulsive. But again, they have to adapt to change because change has come. You know, change has come, and Elon Musk, I'm hoping and praying that he sticks to his ground, to his guns here, because he's going against a lot of. There's a lot of systems that Elon Musk by himself. Yeah, he has the people, but I mean, it's not gonna be easy to make those changes, at least.
Yeah.
And again, with
Like,
God,
I mean, he's got a lot of work ahead of him because, like, one of the policies he wants to instate is he wants everybody to work a 40-hour work week in the office.
Yeah.
Like, in the building, no more working from home. So it's like, you know,
yes,
these people have gotten so used to working from home, now they're complaining about having to go into the office. I don't see anything to complain about. That thing looks like a luxury resort to me.
Absolutely. I'll go on vacation. I'll go on vacation into this office, you know?
Please hire me. I don't care if I even have to sweep the floors.
If this is how it is to work at Twitter, boy, I need to quit my entire job and start a whole new career.
Right?
All right, let's get to the debate. This is the highlight of our day, and I know you've been waiting for this one. Yeah. This is a debate between Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I think his name is Marcus. This is 28 minutes long, so I think we can. You let me know if you want to comment on something. I think after each question. Go ahead.
A quick setup to this. The reason we're going over this is because in the political sphere, the current rumor has it that when Trump makes his run for 2024, that Marjorie Taylor Greene is potentially going to be his running mate.
Wow. That's a powerful piece of information right there.
So I'm going to give you a small glimpse into who Marjorie Taylor Greene is and what she stands for, because I've been following her and some of the things she's done in Congress, and she is an amazing woman. Let me tell you what.
I mean, I've only heard a little bit about her and seen some videos that went viral, and from what I've heard, she's a Christian.
She's known as the meme senator.
The meme senator?
Meme
senator. Oh wow.
Because when she puts on a presentation, she brings all these big cork boards with giant memes on them.
Okay. That's funny.
And she'll go through them one at a time and be like, so this is supposed to be offensive? It's a meme. It's a joke. Do you not get it?
That's interesting. That appeals a lot to young people when you do it like that, you know.
Definitely got to look up some of her videos on YouTube. It is hilarious.
I need to do that. All right. That's interesting. I love stuff
So
like that. All right.
this is a small glimpse into who she is and what she stands for. But the
Great.
basic context of this is why we wanted to show you this is she might potentially be running for with Trump as vice president in 2024.
I would love to see that. Now let's listen to this debate because I think from what I've heard, I mean, let's listen and we will talk after each particular point. So I guess after each questions are answered by both candidates, and then you and I maybe can pause and you let me know if you want me to pause anytime, and then we can comment on that. Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Karen Greer, anchor with WSB TV in Atlanta. Welcome to the Atlanta Press Club Loudermilk Young Debate Series from the studios of Georgia Public Broadcasting. This is the general election debate among candidates for Congressional District 14. Now, 14 is located in northwest corner of the state. It includes Paulding County, parts of Cobb, and extends up to Dade and Catoosa counties. Let's meet the candidates for this debate. They are in alphabetical order. Marcus Flowers, a Democrat, is a veteran and has worked for the State Department and Department of Defense. Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican, is the incumbent Congresswoman from District 14. Now let's meet our panelists. John Druckenmiller is the publisher for Hometown Headlines, now part of the Times Journal Inc. media group based in Rome, Georgia. And Josh Rowe is an anchor with WTVC in Chattanooga. For complete rules on today's debate, please visit the Atlanta Press Club website, atlantapressclub.org/debates. To start the debate, each candidate will be asked one question by each panelist. Candidates have 60 seconds to answer each question. John Druckenmiller, you get the first question to Marcus Flowers.
Thank you, Karen. First off, candidates, thank both of you for running. We know.
Okay.
So the moderator, with her skin tone, is it just me or does it look like her dress melts into her skin?
I didn't even notice that. Oh, yeah. She's got a brown.
Like, it looks like it's completely open on top.
Yeah. But
just an observation I wanted to point out. It looks like the mic's pinned into her skin.
Yeah. It does look like that, but I can see the brown. The line is right here.
Just barely.
Yeah, I see it. It's right here. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Good observation. I didn't even take notice of that.
Anyway, you can continue and pause after the question.
Against Ms. Greene in the last two elections, 20 candidates total. Each one has had a strategy that has been, I am not MTG. In your race, in the last week alone, 37 emails have come to our Rome News Tribune server from your candidate, from your account, saying the same thing, I'm not MTG. What is your platform?
Well, thank you for that question, John. First and foremost, I am running as Marcus Flowers, not Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, I got into this campaign because of the events of January 6th and Congresswoman Greene's participation in that. You know, this is about so much more than just having a representative who doesn't represent our district, but it's about our democracy. And not running as MTG has never been my platform. Yes, people see that we have an outsized social media account, but that's not the secret sauce of this campaign. We've knocked over 70,000 doors in our district, had those real conversations with the people of Northwest Georgia, our local leaders, our mayors, our commissioners, our city council members, and yes, our law enforcement officials. And every one of them that I've talked to, almost to a person, has said Marjorie Taylor Greene is not who they want representing them. So yes, this campaign is about Marcus Flowers, not MTG. Thank you.
Joshua, it's your turn.
I need a rebuttal to that. You cannot accuse me of insurrection. I was a victim of the January 6th riot just as much as any other member of Congress. That was the third day I had on the job. I had nothing to do with what happened there that day, and I will not have you accuse me of that. That is wrong of you to do. You're lying about me, and you will not defame my character in that manner.
Did Joe Biden win the election, Congresswoman Green?
Joe Biden is the president of the United States.
Absolutely,
Marcus.
but you pushed a big lie that said he did not win the election.
There was
and
election fraud.
You drove those people to the Capitol on January 6th with your lie.
We're going to move on. Josh Rowe, it's your turn to ask
and my
a question
husband has
to
proof
Marjorie
of it.
Taylor Greene.
We have FOIA evidence of proof of election fraud that came out.
Excuse me. We're ready to move on to the next question for you.
He's not going to accuse me of a crime.
Would you like your question? Would you like your question?
Yes, ma'am, I would. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
By the way.
There's a crisis in your district tonight. I'm going to lay this out as quickly as I can here. The future of the DACA program is in jeopardy in the courts. You have a bill that would eliminate DACA. You said this on Twitter 10 days ago. A plan must be developed, and that's an accurate statement, right? I talked to one of the state reps there in Dalton this week, Republican. He tells me that if DACA goes away, 10% of the labor force in Dalton also would go away. A huge part of the economic engine in your district, right? You got people who live in every county in your district who work in Dalton, get a paycheck there, take that money back to those other counties, buy homes, pay taxes, goods and services. So, and I also asked, what happens if DACA goes away? What happens in Dalton? He said, devastated, devastated. So tonight, be clear with your district. What actually happens if DACA goes away, and then what is your plan?
Well, Josh, first and foremost, I swore an oath to the Constitution, and I represent the citizens of the United States of America, not DACA recipients. And I also represent our district that believes in strong borders. We've had over 5 million people illegally invade the United States of America since Joe Biden became president. Fentanyl is now the #1 cause of death in young people from 18 to 45, and they are using Narcan every single day in Northwest Georgia, which, by the way, is not next to the border of Mexico. Because of this border crisis, it has caused a human security crisis like we've never seen before. Joe Biden and his administration is the greatest business partner to the Mexican cartels that we have ever seen in United States history. The only thing that I'm going to do to represent Northwest Georgia and Georgia's 14th district and the workers and the businesses there is to legislate and vote so that they have a strong economy, they have job opportunities that will not be stolen by people that are illegally invading our country to steal their jobs. I know the representative you're talking about is probably Casey Carpenter, who seems to be more interested in representing illegal aliens than the legal citizens of Northwest Georgia.
Thank you. Your time is up. John, your question for Marjorie Taylor Greene.
All right, Ms. Greene, since taking office on January 3rd, 2021, what is the one specific accomplishment solely on behalf of the 14th Congressional District that is most important to you?
Well, I tell you what, it's been hard to pass any bills in a Democrat-controlled, Nancy Pelosi-controlled House of Representatives, a Senate that is controlled by one vote with Kamala Harris as the Democrat vice president, and a White House that is controlled by Democrats.
Go ahead, man.
So, for those who don't know, DACA is meant to protect illegal immigrants who come over the border illegally and give them basically amnesty and working papers and jobs and protect them from deportation.
Wow.
So what she's trying to do is get rid of that so that the local population can get jobs of their own.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to the citizens and not the illegal immigrants.
Yeah. And I know a lot of businesses probably benefit from those illegal immigrants because they can pay them less and to do, I guess, not even, I wouldn't say the same work, because if you can't speak the language and everything, it might be difficult. But I wonder.
And there's a huge language barrier there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I think that's perfectly true. That's just America first, man. This is what the MAGA movement was all about.
Exactly.
If we take care of the people from if we take care of our own people, it would be much easier for us to help those without. It's just common
Exactly.
sense to me. Yeah.
And it's not that she's against immigration. It's
Hmm.
she wants you to do it the right way. Just like every other person who believes in what Donald Trump stands for in MAGA, it's it's not that we don't want people to immigrate. We just want you to do it the right way. There are steps to follow. There is a process to immigrating to the U.S. that you have to go through.
Yeah. Like
And
that's how it's been done for years. So what's different now?
just, you know, follow the steps and go through the process just like everybody else has in the past,
Yeah.
you know? And we will welcome you with open arms as an
Absolutely.
American citizen.
Absolutely.
And going back to what the other guy said, I am not Marjorie Taylor Greene. Using a double negative means you are Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I am not Marjorie Taylor Greene. I get it. Well, it sounds like he's somewhat envious of her because one of the things he said to begin with, Marcus Flowers started by saying, and I'm taking notes here. I'm taking notes. He
Mhm.
said, I got into this election because of what happened on January 6th. Listen, the moment you say that, you've lost me because January 6th is not the worst problem that we've ever experienced or are now experiencing in this country. Yeah, that happened. Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, there were some things there. The different side of the story, I get it. But if you're trying to get into office in politics to deal with the issue of January 6th, you came in under the wrong motive.
Mhm.
And automatically I'm like, Hold what about all the other issues that we are now facing? Like she's addressing automatically, she's just put it so well. She points out some of our problem, the fentanyl problem, the open borders issue, the different problems that we are having, Americans losing their jobs to these immigrants. She's
Inflation.
inflation problems. She's talking about problems. This man opened up talking about an accusation. You blamed her for January 6th, and I'm not sure how much evidence he had of that. And he also called her on election fraud because she supposedly does not believe that Joe Biden was, properly elected. Okay, even if that is true, she has the right to do that. That's called freedom of speech. And there's been people refuting elections for years. So automatically, he's already lost me with the
Mhm.
first few words that came out of his mouth. When I heard this election, I'm like, first of all, why are you attacking this woman? Tell me what your plans are, what you have to offer. Tell me what you got for me. But he's
And
like, I'm going for January 6th and I'm going for Margaret Taylor Greene. I'm like,
and that's why Democrats are losing so bad is because they don't understand that that is not the platform you run on.
No.
That is a losing strategy.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. People need their needs met.
And people don't care about January 6th.
I'm telling you. I've read a little. I went to this little place called Infinito. It's where we live, and it's like a pizza place, all you can eat pizza place. You can just grab whatever they have, like almost 20 different types of pizzas they make, and you can grab and eat and so on. But there was on the wall this little, paint that, and there was the words written on the wall. It says, "People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, that hits so hard." That hits so hard because the reason that it hit me is because I'm one of those guys. I study a lot, especially when it comes to religious doctrines and so on, and history. I study a lot of books about Protestant Reformation. I study a lot of those things, and I'm like, I'm always getting knowledge, which is not a bad thing. But it doesn't matter, though, at the end of the day, if you don't know how to meet other people's needs. It doesn't matter how much you know, how big your YouTube channel is. It doesn't matter how well you can preach. It doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter what your status is. If the average person cannot feel the love coming from you, these politicians have the same principles they need to understand. What people need the most is their needs to be met. They need to understand that you know where they are. They don't expect you to be perfect. They need to understand you understand where they are and you trying to minister to their needs. And if you can do that very well, you win. Like, we don't care so much about January 6th to the point where we're going to vote for you on that regard. We don't care about all this transgender stuff. To me, that's insignificant because that's not
You cut out.
with. Sorry. That's not really an issue that I'm very much concerned with because I got children and family and things we really need to worry about.
Yeah.
We don't care.
People need to put food on the table. They need to put gas in their car, and
Yeah.
to get back and forth to work. And if they can't do those basic, simple things and pay rent so that they have a roof over their head, everything else is a moot point.
You ain't saying nothing. You know? Amen. So let's move on.
Joe Biden. Now, what we've done to accomplish things for Northwest Georgia is I'm proud to be able to bring in money via grants to help our local sheriff's department and help local businesses there. We've also worked very hard with the flooding that happened over in Somerville. And so we've worked hand in hand with officials there and look forward to helping them more as damages and amounts of money come out. So I'm very excited to vote and to introduce bills that uphold the conservative traditional values of the people in my district, and I'll continue to do that.
All right, Josh, you get the final question. Did you have a rebuttal?
Yeah, I didn't hear an answer there, ladies and gentlemen. Representative Green said she's passed all these bills and brought money into our district. Well, you haven't. You know,
no, I voted no
grants,
to Joe
grants
Biden's
that
radical
come into our
Democrat
district
bills, Marcus.
don't necessarily
See, you don't
come
understand how
from
Congress works.
Congresswoman
Nancy
Green.
Pelosi
People write grants for their organizations to get government money. That is competitive.
No, you're
if we had a
defund the
congresswoman
police.
who was
I
walking those
support the
grants
police.
through, perhaps, but Congresswoman Green, she can't take credit for good things that happen while our people suffer.
Marcus, we're going to give you your last question. Josh, you get the final question
you're
for
the
Marcus
defund the
Flowers.
police party, Marcus.
Mr. Flowers,
you don't understand how
you said it here tonight that the voters in Northwest Georgia want a different member of Congress. You've said that. You made that clear. But the numbers in the primary tell a different story. And to be clear, numbers processed by local election workers in Georgia and reported by the Georgia Secretary of State. She received 30,000 more votes this primary than 2 years ago. If you take your votes, all your Democratic challengers' votes, all of her challengers' votes, she still had 13,000 more votes than everybody else running. What evidence can you provide, other than anecdotal, that the voters in Northwest Georgia want a change?
Josh, it's not an anecdote that not everyone votes in a primary and a midterm. That's not anecdotal. In the last election cycle, more than 75,000 people voted against Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, we've brought people in from every corner of the district, newly registered people, and I've talked to, it doesn't matter if it's a Republican, independent, or Democrat. I've talked to everybody. And everybody that I talk to, Republicans come up to me every day with tears in their eyes saying, please, get rid of Marjorie Taylor Greene. She doesn't represent us. She truly doesn't. And I've heard this time and time again across the board. A primary is not a general election. And I guarantee
ladies and gentlemen, what you're
that
hearing,
in the primary,
Marcus Flowers,
you will see
who's a
marked
man who
difference.
wears a hat and doesn't own one single head of cattle. He's a liar, and all he has done is sent emails all over the country to raise money for himself, and he pays himself out of his campaign with your donation dollars. If you're a California Democrat sending money to Marcus Flowers, he's paying himself to run for Congress and pretend that he can beat me in a blood-red Republican district. None of his Democrat defund the police, America Last policies represent our district, and I do.
Well, I'll tell you what, I do get a response to that. Yeah.
Well, we need to really move on because we are
Okay.
so far behind. That
Definitely.
concludes the first round of the debate. The candidates will now ask a question to their opponents.
Round one, fight. So tell me, who you think win the first round?
I got to give it to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, she is a little spitfire, man.
Bruh, she's on fire. I can listen to that woman all day. She just makes sense. I don't know. First of all, I have to give her credit too. She wins round one. Number of reasons. The reason why I think she wins, she lays out a number of plans, and she's addressing some of the issues going on in the country.
And addresses them directly.
Directly. She talks to me. She talks to the American people. She looks into the camera and talks to me. Marcus Flower is talking to her, is talking to us about her.
He's
I
too
noticed
busy
that
slinging mud.
Yeah, he is. Yep, he is throwing nothing but black balls. And I'm looking at that. I'm like, accusation. I already have 5 accusations he made on my note. And I'm thinking to myself, why this guy hasn't laid out a single plan? He hasn't addressed any of our issues. He is just going after her, disparaging her, discrediting her work, accusing her election fraud, and connecting her to January 6th, and talking about what people are saying about her to get rid of her. These are all his messages. And I'm looking at that, I'm like, you haven't said anything to me, bro.
You haven't given anything of substance.
So we know who win that round. So let's move on to round 2. Nothing of substance. Nothing. So let's go to round 2. Hopefully he can redeem himself.
I love her last line. He wears a cowboy hat and doesn't own a single head of cattle.
So he really thinks he's gonna win in a blood red state with these talking points.
Yeah. He thinks he stands a chance.
He is way over his head. I don't even know the man. Just within this first, I mean, it took me 1 minute to realize. I'm like, whoever this guy is, he has no plans. He has no serious policies.
He was thrown to the wolves.
Lord have mercy. He went after the wrong woman. All right, let's go.
To respond, and the candidate who asks the question will have 30 seconds for a rebuttal. Now, by random selection, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you may ask the first question.
Absolutely. Marcus, you're a father, and you are a representative of the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is the party of child abuse. It's the party that represents grooming children and sexualizing them in school, teaching anti-white racism in the terms of CRT education, and genital mutilation of kids that can't even get a driver's license, can't get a tattoo, and cannot vote. How do you stand there and represent the Democrat Party as a father? And do you believe in genital mutilation of children under the age of 18? And these puberty blockers that have severe health consequences?
Time for your
because
question.
I've introduced a bill to ban it and make it a felony to mutilate children's genitals. Do you stand by that?
Boy, that was a lot. And God bless you, Marjorie Taylor Greene. If you truly believe that I'm praying for you. You know, I believe in this country. I believe in our democracy. And I believe in standing up for human rights. People come up to me every day and tell me how they feel attacked by you. And yes, I'm talking about children in our LGBTQ plus community. Every day, Congresswoman Greene, seniors, Latinos, blacks, men and women, every day. This is how she treats the people of Northwest Georgia and the people of America. Attacks, constantly attacking. That's not representative, Greene. You represent them.
I do. I represent and I will always protect children. And that's why I introduced the Protect Children's Innocent Act, to protect children who just may be confused about their identity. Kids need to grow up. They do not need to have mastectomies, castration, or take dangerous drugs that have serious health consequences. Marcus Flowers represents the Democrat Party, and the Democrat Party is the party of child abuse. And we have to stand up and stop it right now. To protect children, we protect them from making serious mistakes that will last a lifetime. The same mistakes and regrets that many, many detrans people have right now.
Extreme examples and lies.
You know the roof is on fire, right?
I think it's gone past the roof. I think the whole building's on fire at this point.
Yo, he's got ants in his pants because
all he did was just say, people don't like you. People think you're attacking them. That's it. That was his answer.
He answered like a politician. Like, brother, you can't run past her question, because this is a soft spot for me when it comes to this.
It's
because,
a soft spot for a lot of people.
Because
any parent.
Yeah. We talk about some of this stuff on this channel, right? And we got a lot of this trans thing going on, and I have a soft spot in my heart for these people, because I think they're being abused, because I think this is the next level of self-abuse and children being taken advantage of. I think this is what's going on here. That's why I raised my voice against it.
Or like I just commented on your latest video with the guy who's transitioning to be an alien. I think, honestly, I think it's his agent who's pushing that.
Yeah,
idea onto him.
backing it up. She's backing it up. Yeah,
No, not just backing it up. I think she's pushing him to get this done.
yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah,
because
I saw that.
she likes things that are weird
Yeah.
and unusual. So I think she's pushing him in that direction and kind of grooming him to that direction to do that, what he's being encouraged to do.
Yeah.
I don't think he's making this decision
On
with a
his
clear
own.
head.
The same is true
on his
for
own.
many. Yeah, the same is true for all these young people today that are being pushed into all these transgender ideology. They're being pushed and made to feel that unless you cut these body parts and mutilate yourself, you are not supposedly gonna be happy. You know, you're gonna have to be at peace with the person that you are, yada yada yada. But the thing is, this brother here, Marcus Flower, did not answer the question.
Yeah.
He
At
answered
all.
like a politician. He just talked generally.
Pardon my French. He answered like a bitch. I'm sorry.
I think that right there, the way he answered that, it speaks volume to me about his character and what he represents. Because you can say, I represent the American people, yada yada. What is that?
Yeah.
This was a specific question. This was not a question of policies or constitution. It's not a political question. This was a specific situation we're talking about that has to do with children. He did not answer. She gave an answer. And her answer was correct.
And she's pushing this bill forward in Congress as we speak.
Yes, I introduced the bill, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, and I'm doing this. He said, I'm just standing for the American people. You're not standing for anything. What if the people are standing for something that is evil? Could you identify it and address it?
What if the American people are standing for something you disagree with? Could you represent them then?
Round 2 continues. Boy.
Is what Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing, trying to misrepresent me.
That's serious mistakes that will last a lifetime. The same mistakes and regrets that many detrans people have right now.
Extreme examples and lies is what Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing, trying to misrepresent me.
That's the time on this. I really need you all to follow up. 30 seconds for a question. 30-second rebuttal. Please don't talk.
Go ahead.
I like how he tries to get that last jab in there of extreme lies and this and that and the other thing, trying to misrepresent him. There was no misrepresenting him.
I was gonna say she didn't apply this to him. She was just saying this is what the children are going through.
Yeah, she didn't have to misrepresent him. He did that to himself. He did a perfectly fine job of that himself.
Yeah.
Like she legitimately put him in a box where she knew that he couldn't get back out of.
Let me tell you, you see what Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing here. If every Republican runs on this, it's like this is the Achilles heel to the Democratic Party. If you can use it correctly, and you can weaponize, I think this is a good way where you can weaponize. This is where you can, I believe the word propaganda would make sense. If you can weaponize this thing,
their propaganda,
their own propaganda, use it against them, you can whip them to death. And also, there is really no justification for it. And very few Democrats have the guts to speak against it. I haven't heard any. There might be some. I think there are some. But I have not heard any Democrats coming forward and voice their opinion against this stuff. Very few.
Debbie, no, it's not. She's not using it as a bargaining tool. She genuinely believes this. She's been trying to push this legislation forward for quite some time now. Like I said, I've been following her career for quite a while since she became known as the meme Congresswoman. This isn't a bargaining tool. This is something she's genuinely concerned about.
That is great. Yeah. Wow. I'm telling you, Democrats, pay attention. I mean, Republican, pay attention, because if you're trying to win the election,
this is how you do it.
This is how you do it right here. This is how you do it. You need to get to the heart of some of the issues in our culture and use that to your advantage to build your base. Because she's running. She looks well right now. I will vote for her right here after this answer.
Yeah,
Just the
she
fact
looks like Mike Tyson right now.
Yeah, she does.
In his prime.
Yeah. And she looks actually, she's a good looking woman, by the way. Not to get into all that physicality, but she just looks good. She's articulate and she's strong.
I'm not gonna lie, she ain't bad on the eyes.
Yeah, she's strong with it. She's firm. She has a plan, and she ain't backing down to this brother. And you can't say it's racism. No, she's whipping you.
No.
That white woman is beating you down, Marcus.
Right.
Hey, brother, you don't have a defense. You forgot your shield, your helmet, you forgot your breastplate because she is whipping you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, pardon the expression, but he's taking a whooping here. She's taking him out to the shed and giving him a good old-fashioned whooping.
Oh my goodness, that's a beat down, and then she got on top of him and stumped him some more.
And it ain't even over yet. We're only halfway
We're not even
through.
done yet, and I can say finish him. Like Mortal Kombat, finish him.
Finish him.
Yeah, it's over. Like, I don't know why we're watching this because this is over already. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, wait a minute. This guy looks so bad right now. He looks so horrible. He doesn't have any.
What kills me is this dude is a veteran. Of all things, he should know better.
He should know better.
You know? I mean, come on, man.
You fought for the country, the freedom that we enjoy in this country, and you're talking like this?
Yeah. It's just absurdity.
Most veterans don't talk like this. Most veterans actually, and I think what's happened over time, they've allowed their political views to determine their conscience and their morality. So it's like you come into this Democratic Party and you know they're doing things that are really bad. Why are you still there supporting the system? Why don't you fight against it and push back? And I can see why, Tulsi Gabbard, why she said I had to go. Because she's been trying to fight with them and trying to convert
Speaking
them.
of which, that concerns me.
I know how you say they can become rhinos and so on. But at least she just make a bold stand saying, I'm leaving, I'm going somewhere else. And I don't know if they're gonna be fully converted.
I can understand the reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
But the problem is it's I'm not 100% she's committed to
yeah, I know. Because she has some views that are still very much Democrats at heart and stuff. So I think we have a lot of questions. And I think
it's gonna be one of those I gotta wait and see.
Yeah.
You know? Don't get me wrong, Tulsi Gabbard, I think, would have made a great Republican if she changed her views on just a couple of key points.
And I think it might be part of her conversion to grow up to that. Maybe if that is, she's gonna be one of those candidates that I think we're gonna talk about.
Could be amazing.
She
could be an
one.
amazing one.
Very articulate. She knows what she's talking about. Strong for family values and so on. But there's some of the things that she stands for. I'm like, you're gonna have to change that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna come over to the Republican Party, you're gonna have to accept it's all or nothing kind of thing. It's like,
You can't come over halfway and still carry some of those democratic values with you.
Yeah.
That's not how this is gonna work.
It's not gonna work. I agree.
It's like somebody say converting to be a Christian and still continue in their old life of sin.
Yeah, you can't have that.
You can't do that. And to answer your question, Debbie, yes, I did have my surgery done and I'm on recovery and doing well. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
And thank you for your prayers.
Thank you. All right, let's get back to this debate.
That really slows us down. All right, Marcus, your question.
Congresswoman Green, I left my job as a government official to run this race because of January 6th and your part in it. My granddaddy was a sheriff. My uncles were police captains, one of who was injured in the line of duty. You spent your time in Congress these last couple of years providing aid and comfort to the January 6th insurrectionists. My question for you is, why do you care more about those criminals in jail than you do about the people of our district.
You want to know something? I care about stopping the two-tier justice system that is happening right now in America. I was a victim of the January 6th riot, and I've said it over and over again. I'm completely against what happened on January 6th. But I will not stand by and watch Merrick Garland turn the Department of Justice into a political weapon and the FBI sending it after parents that are addressing their school boards, people that walked in the Capitol and have been held in jail for nearly 2 years, while Antifa and BLM rioters go free and are never held accountable. I will always stand up for freedom, defend our freedom of speech, defend our Second Amendment, and defend everyone's ability to live the American dream. That's what I care about, and I truly care about representing those values and those abilities and freedoms for Georgia's 14th District.
Wow. Oh my goodness. This woman. Oh my Lord. This woman is something else. This is how you answer a question.
Can we say mic drop?
Can we? Yeah, drop the mic. This is how you answer a question.
Like, and that's the thing is these people have been locked up without due process.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like Merrick
That's
Garland
wrong.
is holding them without due process, and these are American citizens.
Yeah,
they
they're treating them like
are
criminals.
allowed due process. They're treating them like terrorists
Yes, they are.
from another country.
Yeah.
That's
wow.
not how we do things here in the U.S. That's illegal. So
That's
even if their cases get to trial, chances are they'll end up getting thrown out just based on the mere fact that they've been denied due process.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, I'm not a lawyer or an expert in law or anything like that, so don't take my legal advice for it. I'm just going off of what I've seen in other cases, in other instances.
Yeah.
But the point is she has concern for the welfare and well-being of these people because they're not being treated fairly by the justice system.
Yeah. And then when she said, those Antifas are left to go free, we have done more damage.
Catch and release.
Yes, they have
$2
hurt
billion
more
in damages in one summer.
Oh, you kidding? So that is worse than what we have seen on January 6th.
Yeah, far worse. Across the U.S. in total, it has been estimated to be over $2 billion in damages.
Wow. Now I can understand now. Look at her face. She's smiling after she answered.
She knows. she knows she's owning this guy.
And I know, like, there are a lot of questions I think you could have asked a Republican. You could have gone. I don't know. I don't know if they have too many good ones. I think they could have gone. They can't use the abortion law because that's not really going to work. They cannot use Donald Trump, Trump, what is it, that Trump syndrome kind of thing? What do you call it?
Trump derangement syndrome.
Trump derangement syndrome, because that stuff is getting old. So what do they can use to, what kind of question could a Democrat ask a Republican to get them to,
Really, about the only thing now would be the abortion law.
The abortion law, January 6th. Abortion. I knew he was going to use January 6th. That was his only thing that he could use right now. And I'm like, that stuff is getting weaker. Yeah, it's getting weaker and weaker by the day. It's like, you're going to have to come up with something stronger than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And honestly, I think they're the only talking point they have are January 6th and abortion laws. That's it. Anything other than that, they've got nothing. Because our economy's in the toilet, inflation's at an all-time high, the dollar value's at an all-time low. People can't put food on the table. They can't pay rent. I mean, I know it's kind of anecdotal, but I've got family members calling family members for help just to pay rent. And having preventing their car from being repossessed so they can get back and forth to work.
We got bigger issues.
We have much bigger issues than January 6th or whether or not a woman has right to abort.
It's crazy. I want to hear part of her answer again. I think this is the best I've ever heard coming from one woman.
And everyone's ability to live the American dream. That's what I care about, and I truly care about representing those values and those abilities. For Georgia's 14th district.
So what I'm hearing is criminals over police officers. That's what I.
Yo, what did he say?
You got to let him finish. You got to let him finish his
I'm
statement.
gonna let's let's do that.
14th district.
So what I'm hearing is criminals over police officers. That's what I heard.
You're the party of defund the police, Marcus. Not
You
me. Not
defund the police.
Republicans.
That's
Here we
rich,
go.
Congresswoman
No,
Green.
we fund
Defund the FBI shirts and hats that you're selling, making money off of.
Yes, the FBI that is targeting.
We're going to cut their mics in just a minute because that concludes our second round. For those just joining us, this is the debate for the general election between
So round 2 is finished.
Okay, you got a bot.
Okay, I'm gonna address that. Okay.
So, real quick, defund the police. Yes, the Democrats want to defund the police, that we have no way of defending ourselves because they know most police officers won't fire on innocent civilians.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Number two, yes, defund the FBI because they're being used as a strong arm for the government to intimidate, and I'm going to stop there before I say something I shouldn't.
I got you. Yeah. Yeah. So how about that? DK, you said gas in the car, food on the table. Gotta eat, gotta live, drive to work. Tough situation for all. Yeah. Glad you're here, my friend. Glad you're here.
And that's what the Democrats aren't understanding and aren't getting through their thick heads. They don't seem to understand that's what's most important to most common everyday American.
Yeah. They don't get that. But they are in for a rude awakening. They're gonna get it after this election. They're gonna get it.
Oh yeah.
I hope they will. And also they gotta get rid of that woke stuff. That woke stuff, man. I gotta show you my new shirt, bro. I gotta show you my new shirt because I had to make the purchase. It's here somewhere. Oh, that's one of them. Faith Over Fear is from the channel.
Love it.
It's in the merch department. Oh, there it is.
Oh yeah. Facts, my man. Facts.
Yeah, man. You go woke, you go broke. Guys, go over to the Look and Live channel and get one of your shirts because we have a number of those. I end up getting a sweater too. I've been wanting to purchase a few things. They're a little, I don't know, the price is a little wild, but until I find another way to get them. So this is a Look and Live one with the American flag in it. But you'll find them at the store. Just go over there and check them out. You see, the thing is that woke stuff that we got in the Democratic Party, that inclusivity and diversity. Yeah, that equality kind of thing, affirmative action and all this stuff that we're pushing connected to it. The longer you hold on to that, that's like an acid. That's like an acid. It eats away everything. It destroys everything. We had that reaction video to the military and stuff. Like, you put woke in military is like, ugh. You put woke in politics is, you put it in church, and we have many videos here on this channel about.
Oh yeah. It's like nope.
Yeah.
we got to stop this, people.
Yeah.
Come on.
Every time you put it in, everywhere you put that, it destroys everything. There are movies today, and it's like the movies are being remade, and when they remake them, they mix them with the woke ideology and trying to include everyone in there. It's
and
like
it destroys the movie.
We don't care about that. We just love the storyline. I don't care who plays it so much, as long as the actor plays the role really good. I don't care if he is black or white or green or purple. I
mean,
just want the story.
look at
Like,
what they did with Little Mermaid.
I know. What's up with that? I
Like,
know she's
they did a
unreal.
live action of Little Mermaid,
Yeah, yeah.
and
You have all these children reacting to it. I was like,
it's like, who cares?
enough,
No.
enough already. Oh, she's black. I'm like, what? What are we doing to our daughters that they are enamored and blown away by Little Mermaid, who is a fictitious character? And that's not even the color of her original skin in the first place. But nevertheless,
Yeah.
it's like, if you're gonna be true and honest and real with yourself. Like,
And be true to the source material.
yeah, be true. They have
Like
they have
She-Hulk, the She-Hulk series.
Yeah, what was that?
Oh my word. What an atrocity.
She just whines and pines and complains, and it's
But
all
she's
about
the bestest ever.
And no wonder why it's done so bad. People don't even watch that stuff. It's
Like
like,
the last episode was literally a middle finger to all the fans of She-Hulk. Like it's like kids grew up with She-Hulk, young boys who grew up with She-Hulk. That was kind of like their first exposure to female form.
Yeah.
In all its glory.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very attractive to us. Right. This new version of She-Hulk,
I don't know what that is
more of an abomination.
Abomination. That's a perfect word for that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not attractive. I didn't even watch a single episode. I'm not even clicking and watching. I just saw a few things. I watched Louder with Crowder.
Yeah. You cut out.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why it does that. So I've watched. Maybe I need to change more of my
Might
USB.
need new cable.
Yeah, my USB, the connection of my USB. I'm gonna have to put it. Maybe it's lacking power from where it is. Phantom power, I guess. Yeah. So he's like, to me, he's like, I don't really care about that. I just want nothing but the truth. I just want the truth, and leave me alone. Everything else doesn't matter to me. But they
I just wanted it to stay true to the source material.
Yeah. Yeah, Debbie, we're becoming a family in this place. We're becoming a family in this place. Yeah. Have mercy. All right. Okay. Let's continue here.
Candidates for Congressional District 14. We will now go back to our esteemed panel to ask questions to the candidate of their choice until we run out of time. As a point of moderator privilege, I may also ask a question of the candidates, and I'll determine when a rebuttal is appropriate. Josh Rowe, you'll get the first question in this round.
All right, this is to Marjorie Taylor Greene there. You're well known for making controversial statements. Detail your process for vetting and fact-checking your statements that you make in public and post to social media.
Can you tell me what's controversial about defending the freedom of speech, or what's controversial about defending our border, or saying we need to? Can you tell me? Give me an example.
No, you do this every time we have a debate where I ask a question that's obvious, and you're like, what do you mean? You were kicked off of your committees for saying things were controversial. You've apologized for controversial statements, right? Those types of things. What is your process for fact-checking and vetting the things that you say in public?
The things I say in public are the truth. And that's why they're so offensive to Democrat activists in the media, just like you. And you're asking me a blanket question with no example. I stand by the things that I say. I stand by saying that we need to secure our border, that we need to protect all of our freedoms and our rights, that we need to stop the America Last Democrat communist policies that are destroying our country. I stand by the words that I say. They're just offensive to Washington, D.C. and the swamp creatures there, because the words that I speak are the same as Americans back home, the same as people in Georgia's 14th district. And the words that I speak are the truth. And you want to know something, Josh? Sometimes the truth hurts, and Washington deserves to hear it. We're over $31 trillion in debt. Our government has failed the American people, and right now this administration has us on the verge of a nuclear war with Russia, where they care more about funding a war in Ukraine than they care about protecting Americans, helping homeless people on the streets, and securing our border and stopping fentanyl from killing young people in America.
John, it's your turn to ask a question.
Oh my goodness. That woman is crazy. In a positive way, of course.
Oh yeah. Like I love Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think she would
Yo.
be the perfect candidate to run with Trump. Like seriously.
Oh, you serious? Yo, she whipped she went after the narrator and checked them. And then she addressed his question.
Mhm.
And then she went after
She's like, hold up, let me correct your question and let you get your facts straight. Then I'll answer your question correctly. Okay. Thank you very much.
oh, what a woman. They don't make them like this anymore.
Oh.
This is a rare type. I'll tell you, I love this woman already. I think the more I listen to her, is the more I'm falling in love with what she stands for. Literally,
Like,
I'm falling
she
in
is-
love with her that ideology. She's just
she
so on
is-
point.
She
She's on point with
definitely
it.
doesn't follow the dumb blonde narrative.
I don't know how Marcus. Well, I don't know why Marcus is still even standing. Like, you can just pack your bag and go away. Because
just go home. You're
go
done.
home. Go home to your family and kiss your wife and say, "I'm back, honey. I tried.
I did the best I could.
we
I'm
give you
done.
we give you an F. We give you an F for trying.
Give me an E for effort.
A F for failure." But boy, this is horrible. I mean, she's just so good on it. Like, I'm looking at how she's formulating her argument and everything. Oh Lord, it's powerful. I have to take
And it's not like she's trying to dodge the question either, like most politicians do. She's hitting it face on, head on.
She is. She's not afraid of the questions, and she's not going to fall for your trick either.
No.
You know, you're saying controversial statement, yada yada yada. Like, what were those controversial statements?
What controversial statements? Can you give me an example?
Yeah, Carrie Lake also is one of those. Yeah, Carrie Lake. Yeah,
she's a good one too.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't play that game. These
Nope.
women are on fire. I have to give them credit. I
Very
have to
strong women.
Yeah, that's what we need right here. This is it.
And that's the thing is like what kills me is Hollywood tries to portray strong women. It's like, well, you're either strong or you're not.
Yeah.
And when you have it, you have it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah. This is strength. This is
Carrie
strength.
Lake is it.
Yeah.
You don't have to pretend.
Yeah. Yeah. They like to portray more like, I don't know. They like to portray
fake the funk.
Yeah, they like to portray people coming out of the closet as being strong, you know. That's not strength.
strong. No,
Yeah, I did a video to Jesse Lee Peterson talking about when he was talking to these people. They were talking about how Beyonce is an example of a woman who's independent, who's strong, expressing herself. I'm like, so you're stripping online, you're a baby mama, you're married and you got kids, and you're dancing like that in front of other men, exposing your body that way to other men. And you say that's called strength? That's what you call strength?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's weakness.
No,
that's immorality. That's sexuality. That's carnality. That's wickedness. We're not fool.
No.
Men will look at that and they will enjoy it, because oftentimes men we are visual and we take a look.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? We ain't gonna marry you.
Men like to look at the buffet.
Yeah,
doesn't mean we like to eat on it.
We'll take a look and say, all right, she's hot.
That looks tasty, but I'm not going to eat it.
We're going to put it right back down.
We're going to go for the steak.
Yeah. We take a look and say, oh, okay, that's cool. But go back to the sender, because we want nothing to do with it. The thing is, it's just that these women, they have a wrong ideology of what it means to be strong and independent. This is it right here. This is an example of a woman who knows what she's talking about, and she's not weak. She's strong. This is the kind of woman you want to be on your team, because things get done with that kind of woman. That's what we need.
Exactly.
I love it, man. I love it.
Care about protecting Americans, helping homeless people on the streets, and securing our border and stopping fentanyl from killing young people in America.
John, it's your turn to ask a question.
Thank you very much. Let's bring this back to reality and also bring this back to the 14th Congressional District. The I-75 corridor, gentlemen and ladies, right now is red hot with more than $600 million in new developments, 7.6 million square feet of new warehouses and industry planned in Gordon County. What proactive steps, both candidates, would you take to ensure that in Congress we have the infrastructure to safely support both this new growth and the additional safety concerns raised by these trucks and cars?
Who's first?
That's the question.
Can I take that?
Yes, sir.
I'll take
both candidates the question.
Thank you, John. That is a big issue in our district, our infrastructure and supporting new business and growth. I've talked to mayors and city council members all over our district. We are actually losing companies coming into our district because we can't support it, because we don't have the housing, because we don't have the roads, because we don't have the water and the schools to support those districts. Dalton's is a bright star in our community, but there's so many others, and I will work day and night tirelessly to make sure that we have the infrastructure to support all of the companies who want to come into beautiful Northwest Georgia and provide us with great jobs. We're leading in energy here in Georgia. As a matter of fact, we have the largest solar manufacturing plant in the Western Hemisphere in Dalton. But some of those jobs need to be dispersed throughout the district, and I want to make sure of that. Congresswoman Green, she's too busy flying around the country. She spent $37,000 in the last quarter alone on flights all over the country. She spends too much time in New York, Bedminster, Florida, Michigan, Arizona, Texas. She's never here in our district.
Time you've named.
Go ahead, Darth Vader.
Can we say the biggest non-answer of all time?
I feel like he was starting to go somewhere. It's kind of like he was making promises in a way.
He wasn't even making promises. It was a non sequitur.
Okay.
It wasn't even leading to somewhere. It was like, I've talked to people. I've talked to a lot of people.
Yeah,
I've talked to everyone.
I know this is a problem, and we will do this. I will do that.
That's not what the question was. The question was, how are you going to do this? How are you going to?
They were looking for a plan.
They're looking for a strategic plan. How are you going to lay this out? What are you going to do about it? How are you going to make this happen?
I don't think he cares. I don't think he really cares to answer, or he just doesn't have one.
He doesn't. He really doesn't have a plan.
I think he's
honestly don't think he has a plan.
I think some politicians run for office, like Marcus Flower, not because they think they could win. I think they do it because it's good for status, it's good for record. It just opens doors for other opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I think they know, I'm gonna try this. I'm most likely ain't gonna win, but at least my name will be out there. I will be remembered, and somebody might give me another handout down the road. Who knows? I think it's a good way to make money. I don't think it's a good way because I'm coming in here because I have solutions to people's problems. I don't think it's about that.
Sad part is he doesn't I don't think he realizes the full breadth of campaign finance law and the fact that
they're not supposed to be doing that.
There's a lot of things that you can and can't do with the funds that have been donated to you for your campaign. That's one reason why what's her name? One of the squad members, Cherie Tlaib.
Cherie Tlaib, okay.
I don't think that's her name, but she got in trouble for spending campaign finances and misappropriation for campaign finances. There was a lot of heat on her for a long time about that, but nothing came of it.
Mm-hmm.
It just, I don't know why, but the story just disappeared. It vanished.
It goes away. It's crazy.
It's like, well, she was giving campaign Rashid Tlaib. Yes, thank you, DK. Rashida Tlaib. She was giving campaign finances to her then brother boyfriend or brother husband for I don't know what, but she was paying him out of her campaign finances, and yet nobody knows where the money went.
Sounds like one of those cover up again, like Hillary Clinton situation.
I'm just saying.
Boy. Corruption, kimonos. Rashida Tlaib. Okay, that's
Yeah, Rashida Tlaib. That's who it was.
Yeah. Oh, Vegas is here. Great
Hey,
debate.
Vegas.
This is a great Yeah, man. This is a really great one. You say, yeah, Jordan. Yeah, JLP is awesome. I love how he keeps repeating his question until people either answer or get mad or leave. I know. I have another one coming of him talking to a priest in one of them of a pastor. I'm like, oh, pastor, gay pastor. I'm like, oh, Lord. Don't get me started.
That ought to be good.
Yeah, don't get me started.
I kind of want to be in on that with you.
Oh, listen, I think we might put it part of the live stream tomorrow. I think it would be good to have run that as a live stream. So
sounds good.
Let's do it. Okay, let the
Continue.
Her, so you get to respond.
Arizona, Texas. She's never here in our district.
Time. You've named her, so you get to respond.
Yes, I will respond to that. Marcus has never been a business owner and knows nothing about business. He's never signed the front of a paycheck, so it's hard for him to even comprehend how to do that. He supports the Democrat Party, the party of the Green New Deal, the party of destroying American energy independence, which is the #1 need for manufacturing companies in my district. And by the way, Calhoun is in Gordon County, not Dalton. That's Whitfield County. You don't know anything about our district. I do. I am going to work very hard to lower inflation and also open up many opportunities for businesses growing and developing in Northwest Georgia. And I'm so excited to be a part of that. Now, can I take my question?
That's the time. Well, we're going on, Josh. You can ask a question.
Okay, this is for both of you. Let's start with Marcus Flowers. Our problems in this country are big, and way too often our conversations around these problems are way too small. A lot of criticizing, a lot of finger pointing in this conversation. What do you both offer that can help unify this country? Let's start with Marcus Flowers.
Absolutely. Honor, decency, and integrity. 3 core values that Marjorie Taylor Greene does not have. We've heard a lot from her, and she's good. She is good at spouting off utter nonsense that has absolutely nothing to do with what's going on in our district. I guarantee you, Georgia, if you allow me to be your next congressman, I will work day and night for you. Constituent services, something that you're not getting right now. Our mayors, our city council members, they'll have a seat at the table in D.C. Their needs will be met. Right now, I can tell you, I've talked to a lot of them. They haven't heard from Marjorie Taylor Greene.
May I have a rebuttal?
Yes, you may. And then your question, and I will let you go.
Okay, so the way she answered that is brilliant. Like, this guy has never owned a business. Marjorie Taylor Greene actually owned a business prior to becoming a senator.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said he never signed the back of a check.
The front of a check.
The front of a check, yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, she knows what it takes to make this stuff happen.
Yeah.
And she may not have necessarily laid out a specific plan, but I think that's because the time that she was allotted, she couldn't lay out a full plan.
Yeah, she just had to rebuttal. Yeah.
She just basically had to give a short rebuttal.
Mm-hmm.
And his entire argument was, well, she's never in the district, so she doesn't know. But yet her rebuttal was, well, he doesn't even know what district he's in. So he doesn't know.
You got the wrong.
He got the wrong place. So good luck with that.
You know, she's just killing him, which I knew. I come into this thing knowing that this was a bloodbath massacre.
Like, it's like, oh my word, dude.
And I said, like I've said,
you can't go on stage and not know your district.
Yeah. You make yourself look horribly bad. But the thing is, I think he knew coming into this that he had no chance against this woman. And that's why, if you notice what he does, there's a lot of, even when he's trying to lay out a plan, he's trying to say what he's trying to do, which I haven't heard really anything concrete. he just keeps going after her. It's like the accusation keeps on happening. He can't just talk to the people. He can't just address the matters for what they are and say, here are my plans, my policy. This is what I'm working on. He just says Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, he mentioned her name once too many. It's like,
his entire plan. Echo.
Sorry. Go ahead.
His entire plan is, I'm not her.
That's it. We know that.
Well, that's obvious. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah.
Give us something concrete to work with.
Please do. Please do. Debbie, you said I haven't watched. Was that Mark Carrier?
Kaye?
Yeah, from Jacksonville. Okay. I haven't heard. Can you send me a link? Send me a link to in our Discord or email, whichever one. Okay. Yeah, boy, have mercy.
But yeah, I mean, that was just unbelievable that he didn't even realize that he's talking about someplace that's not even in his district.
Yeah, that's sad. He was embarrassed for a minute. And she's been doing that throughout the whole.
No, I don't think he was. I don't think he had any shame in it.
That's bad. Some people have shame away shame.
Like,
oh, Lord have mercy.
Dude, at least show a little embarrassment on stage. Come on.
You should, at least a degree. So let's let her finish. I think BJ is coming. I'm going to get BJ quick. But I'm going to let her finish.
Back to answer the infrastructure question as well.
Thank you very much. You have no right to attack the hardworking people in my constituent services. They do a phenomenal job, and you know nothing about their hard work because they have served the constituents in Northwest Georgia over and over. So I will not have you attack them. They love their jobs. They love serving and helping people, and that is wrong, and you owe them an apology. You owe them an apology, my constituent services.
Why don't you list your offices on your website?
This is my rebuttal. Karen?
I'm looking for time for the rebuttal.
Thank you. Thank you. So that's my rebuttal. Do not attack the people that work in our office.
And go on with you can answer the question.
Thank you very much. As a member of Congress that is very much looking forward to Republicans taking back the House in January, I'm excited to talk about the commitment to America. The commitment to America is going to provide an economy that is strong. We are going to provide a nation that is safe. We are going to provide a future that is free, and we are very excited to hold government accountable. That means on oversight and through investigations, and I am very much looking forward to being a part of that and taking my place on committees. I will work very hard to do two things. Number one, investigate wrongdoing and hold them accountable. Number two, work hard within my conference and within all of Congress to legislate and produce bills that do these great things for a Republican commitment to America.
Can you give me a quick answer for the infrastructure question?
Infrastructure question. Yes, I'm in the construction company. So infrastructure is something I understand, and being a business owner for over 20 years, that's something I know how to do. What we're going to do for infrastructure is make sure America is energy independent, support fossil fuels, stop funding failing green energies. Wind only supplies 9% of electricity, and then solar is less than 3%, but fossil fuels are over 60%, and nuclear is nearly 20%. It's extremely important. What we also have to do is we have to fund actual infrastructure. Biden's infrastructure bill was actually about the Green New Deal and not about roads and bridges.
All right, we are going to move on now to closing statements because we have used up a lot of our time.
Final thought on that before she go into her closing statement.
Once again, she had a plan.
Yes. Very powerful. He had nothing. I didn't hear anything from him.
Nothing of substance. Just more accusations.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. There we go. We hear. Yeah, I didn't hear him say anything. Anyway, we knew this was a waste of time. At least for him. He knew he's just coming in there just for clouds.
Yeah.
It's like one of those.
Absolutely.
It's like one of those things. Sorry, the echo. It's like one of those. Those boxing fights that you see, like Mayweather is fighting with this guy, right? It's like everybody knows Mayweather's gonna win, but the thing
Yeah.
is, the fight, the fact you get to fight Mayweather, it just looks good on credit,
Yeah,
and
like
you get
Mayweather versus John Paul.
yeah, jump. Yeah, not even close. So it's like that uh you're gonna get whipped, right? But at least I get to fight somebody who is really, really good, and I get to look good getting beat up by someone who is good, better than me. It just
Mhm.
looks good on paper. So you still get paid for fighting even when you lose.
Yeah.
I think he's one of those things. He's fighting because he's gonna get paid anyway. For him, it's not about winning. It's the fact I got to fight this woman because I know I can say down the road I stood up to Marjorie Taylor Greene. He gets
Or
to
just
say
getting his
that.
foot in the door with the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It's one of those things. It's gonna look
because
good for him later on. That's pretty much what
that
it is.
whole thing is just a cabal.
It is. It's a waste. It's a waste of time.
I mean, there's a whole rabbit hole I could go down with that, but anyway, I mean, like he has no idea. He's in way over his head. And she knows exactly what she needs to do. She's like a surgeon with a scalpel at this point and is just dissecting him
Yeah.
piece by piece by piece.
DK, if you were in Georgia, she would have had my vote. Vegas, you said that's the big problem I see now. Politicians advertise on how bad the other candidate is, not what they are going to do for the people. That's all that Marcus does. Marcus had
But
nothing.
but thing is, Vegas, you only see that coming from one side.
Yeah, at least in this one, he speaks volume. But I've
And you
noticed
also saw that from Carrie Lake too.
yeah.
Carrie Lake was the same way. Like she would lay out plans. She was like, "Ask me anything. I'll tell you anything you want to know."
Did Katie Hobbs go into that debate with Carrie Lake?
No, she refuses to debate her.
That's what I thought. I was like, wow, that's a debate we need to cover.
I would love to if they would actually debate each other.
That would be the greatest debate. That would be nice if she changes. I mean, Katie Hobbs changes her mind and say, "Okay, let's do it. Let's do it for Arizonian, the Arizonian people. Let's do it."
No,
But
she
she's
will
not
not
ready
get
for
on
it.
stage with her. She
Yeah,
thinks that Carrie Lake is beneath her.
yeah,
Anytime somebody tries to confront her, she runs away.
yeah,
Like Carrie Lake is just
yeah. I've
like,
seen that Project
come up
Veritas.
to me and ask me anything.
Yeah, Project Veritas had somebody following her. I guess she was at a restaurant outside or something.
Yeah,
She
and
just
he
took
was a
off.
black.
She even dropped.
And
Yeah, he was a black
he
guy.
was a black guy, and
Oh,
she ran into the woman's bathroom to hide from him.
she she
Like
dropped her coffee and everything and took off. I was like, oh, like
she is
what?
actually.
Like I want to know why. I still don't
I know
understand
the
the
word
nature.
racist gets thrown around too much, but honestly, I think she is a straight up racist.
I would like to know why exactly is she so afraid of Carrie Lake? I know she's not ready to face what Carrie Lake has, and as far as her ability to speak, Carrie Lake having been what is it? She was in the news broadcasting person, so she has all those communication skills and everything.
Mhm.
But stand up for yourself. Like I give Marcus Flower a lot of credit. At least it's like you're going against Mike Tyson here, but at least you have the guts to get into the ring. But I think Katie Hobbs is just like she make herself look bad. At least she stand up and share her views and say something. It would look better for her. And I don't know. I'm wondering if this is a political move too. I'm wondering if this is intentional. Sometimes some of these guys they play a lot of games, and I wonder if this has some stuff behind it that is supposed to be that way. It comes. I'm not sure.
I'm thinking it's because she doesn't have the experience. and she's scared of Carrie Lake because she doesn't actually have a plan for anything, and if they ask too hard of a question, she's not going to have an answer for him and look like an idiot, and Carrie is going to run away with it.
Yeah,
And
she's scared of debate. She did say she's scared of debate. She's Kitty Hobbs says she doesn't want to be this. She doesn't want Carrie Lake to keep stopping her while she's talking. I'm like, no. Project Veritas actually exposed them. That's a good video that I think I could react to.
Yeah.
I'm kind of careful with Project Veritas stuff because he's under the radar, and they are trying to somewhat cancel him in a way. They haven't been able to do it, but they're trying to. James O'Keefe? They don't like that guy very much, but because he's doing a really good work, he's exposing the reality and so on.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you do real journalism.
That's what journalism used to look like back then. I remember those days. I remember when journalists would do things and expose the truth. Like that's
and that's the thing is he exposes both sides for what it is.
Yeah,
like he doesn't do just one-sided stories.
Yeah, that's true journalism. But people got a problem with that today. So let's hear their closing statement so we can bring this to an end.
That's all the time we have for the questions. Each candidate now will have 60 seconds for that closing statement. And Marcus Flowers, you will get a chance to have the first closing statement here.
Thank you, Ms. Greer. As was suggested earlier, I am running as Marcus Flowers, not Marjorie Taylor Greene. Listen, I'm the son of a teacher, the grandson of a sheriff. I'm a veteran. I'm a father. I'm a member of this community. I've traveled this district for the last 2 years, and I've talked to people from every walk of life in every corner of our district. And what I hear from them is they want a representative who will work for them. This isn't about Republicans or Democrats. Ladies and gentlemen, this is about right and wrong. This is about chaos versus stability. This is about us. I want you to go in starting tomorrow and vote for right or wrong. Georgia, we have to decide what we want in our seat. Do we want a show horse, or do we want a workhorse who's going to get things done for us? God bless you, and thank you.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, you get the final closing statement.
Well, you just heard from my Democrat opponent that usually wears a cowboy hat but doesn't ride a horse and doesn't own any cattle. Fake cowboys, you might be an extra on Yellowstone when you get done with this career.
That's a good question.
Northwest Georgia, Georgia's 14th district, I want to thank you first and foremost for voting for me and putting your trust in me to represent you in Washington. And no matter how many people lie about me, like my Democrat opponent, people in the media, or anybody on the internet, I want you to know that I will stand up to these attacks and never change how I vote and how I legislate. You elected me to go to Washington to fight for your conservative traditional values, to bring fiscal responsibility back to Washington, which I know how to do because I'm a successful business owner, and also to protect your kids. That's my #1 priority because I'm a mom of 3 kids. So I want to ask you again for your vote. Early voting starts tomorrow. Election day is November 8th. Make sure you bring your friends and your family. Go out and vote for me, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and it'd be an honor of my lifetime to go back in January and represent you again. Thank you very much.
And that concludes our debate. We'd like to remind voters that, as both candidates said, Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th, and early voting begins October 17th. Our thanks to the candidates and to our esteemed panel of journalists. We'd also like to thank...
Yeah, it's over.
So one quick correction, Debbie helped with, it's Ilhan Omar from, from Minnesota that was using campaign funds to give to her husband, brother, that just vanished.
That's who it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Well, according to the closing statements, what will be your final conclusion of this whole thing?
Final conclusion? I think what's his name's having an identity crisis. He doesn't know who he is. He's using double negatives.
Not Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I'm not Marjorie Taylor Greene, therefore I am Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I know. I know. I don't know why he keeps saying that, because he makes himself look so bad.
Like, anybody who has a rudimentary understanding of English knows that two negatives make a positive. So
Absolutely.
hello.
Even the same is true. This is true in math.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you just sound like an idiot. More than you already did.
But even in the closing statement, I didn't hear anything. He sounds more like he was using his pathos, his manliness and strong voice, and he was using that, but that doesn't appeal to anyone because he still had no plan.
Yeah,
He was
just
saying
chest beating.
it's like empty promises and things. You can
Bravado.
see, yeah, bravado. Yeah, his chest voice. But that was all it was. After he is done, she comes back and just lay out her plans very quickly, introduce her family in there. And I mean, the lady just makes a lot of sense, man. It's just that I don't, it's to me, it's beyond political party. Like,
Party affiliation aside, she just makes sense.
that's it. To me, that's all I'm looking at, because I'm still learning all these political stuff. But when you look at this woman talking, and she just like,
She's
knows what she's saying.
She's smart.
Yes, she knows what she's saying. And she has experience, she has a plan.
Okay, that's a bad place to pause.
Sorry. She has a plan. She's articulate. She knows what she's saying. And it doesn't look like Marcus had anything to say that was of substance to go against this woman. This was not even a debate. This was a blowout. Can add it right there. Yeah, the echo should be stopped.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely was. It was just, there was hands down, he didn't stand a chance.
Not even close.
Like, she just mopped the floor with him.
She just mopped the floor. But nice try. And if I were to give counsels to any politicians, I'm going to give you a counsel. This is a biblical counsel, guys. And I think if you're running as a politician, and if you know any politician, tell them to do this, and they will do fine. If they don't do this, they're gonna go down a drain. And I think Marcus, he's gonna be flushed down, because there's no way with these things he's talking about, these policies he's trying to talk about, he doesn't stand a ghost of a chance. Now look at this. There it is. So this is King Rehoboam, so politician now. He consulted with an old man that stood before Solomon, his father, while he yet lived, and said, "How do you advise that I may answer the people?" So this guy was looking for some political advice. So he wanted to know, what is the best way for me to serve and care and answer the people's needs, right? So he spoke to this old man who was part of the government of his father Solomon. So Rehoboam. So there was Jeroboam and there was Rehoboam. Rehoboam was the son of Solomon, one of them. So here is Rehoboam. So the kingdom was divided into there was Judah and also Israel. Israel in the north, Judah in the south. But here we are. He spoke to this old man and he's asking for wisdom. Politician. And the old man said, they speak unto him, saying, "If thou wilt be servant unto the people this day, thou wilt serve them, answer them, speak good words to them, and then they will be servant for you, and they will be thy servants forever." Now look at the counsel. Serve the people, answer the people, speak good words to the people, and the people will in return serve you. This is a beautiful motto, and any politician can take this and run to the bank with it. This is your recipe for success. Learn to serve and meet the people's need. It's not a difficult thing. That is really all you need to do to be a successful politician. It's not how well you can speak and how great you can dress. It's not about these things. Even the same is true even in church. It comes down to an attitude of servitude. It comes down to how willing are you to get on your knees. It comes down to how much are you willing to do for your friends. I don't like to talk about some of this stuff. I've gotten emails and texts from people in our channel who said, James, I'm going through this issue. And I'm like, we got to make a sacrifice. A sacrifice is made, we meet the needs. We don't need to talk about who, how much. That doesn't matter to me. To me, it's like, hey, we can make a sacrifice here. Let's help so-and-so. And we did. To us, these are the most amazing things. Like going about meeting other people's need is really the gospel in action. Politicians have the same thing that they need to do. And a lot of them think it's about how well you can talk and how great you can walk. Like, to me, it's like, really? But look at what this guy did, though. He forsook the counsel of the old man. He said, I ain't going to listen to the old man, which they had given him, and consulted the young men. So the old man gave him good counsel. He said, I don't want that. I'm going to listen to the young men. The young men that grew up with him, which stood before him. So look at that. We have the old wisdom versus the new wisdom. That's what's fighting today. Today's world, you have those who are traditional in their thinking, and we have this so-called modern, contemporary way of doing things. But the new ways of doing things are very much wicked. I'm not saying all new things are bad, but a lot when it comes to principles, when it comes to values, when it comes to policies, when it comes to making a living, these are things you can't sacrifice because of time and culture. You can't do that. But look what they did, though. They give them counsel. And he said, they said unto them, what counsel give ye that I may answer these people? Who spoke to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did put on us lighter. What is it that he said? The young man that was grown up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto this people that speak unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, and made thou it lighter unto us? Thus thou sayest unto them. Are you kidding? My finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. Whereas my father did lade you with heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father have chastised you with whips, I will chastise you with scorpions. So the counsel of the young man was that don't remove the load and the yoke from these people, right? They have issues going on there. He said, in other words, increase their taxes, whip them even more, add more laws, make it more strict, make it more difficult for the people. And he said, I'm going to take that counsel instead of the counsel of the young man, of the old man, which is to serve and meet the needs of the people. And you see these two policies here are the very same thing you see in every political realm, in every culture. You can see this being played out. You have those who come in office, they burden the people, right? And we have those who come in office, they say, let's remove the load. Let's lighten it for them. Let's make things easier for them. And those two are fighting back and forth. We have those who come to serve, and we have those who come to be served. And if you follow this, you will see this trend in every politician. Every corrupt politician are those who want to be served. They want to make more money, and they want to increase more tax. They want more inflation and the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And this is how it always works. And the real God-given politicians are the ones who comes in. They're saying less government intervention. Let's meet the people's need. Let's take their concern into consideration. Let's look at values. Let's look at morality. Let's look at how we can save and protect our borders. Two very different ways of doing things. And you can go between Republicans and Democrats and see where this fits. That's the way it's supposed to be doing. Serve the people and meet their needs. And that's it. And we'll be just fine. Yep. That's my final thought on that.
And honestly, you can see the huge difference between Trump and Biden. that's a really good example between the two methodologies in the passage.
Yeah.
Trump lightened the burden of the
Mm.
people. He made life easy for us,
Mhm.
and we took and people,
Prospered.
prospered and
Yeah.
flourished under Trump.
Yeah.
Now we have Biden, where we have the largest inflation, the
Yep.
largest,
Mhm.
worst economy in history,
Yep.
and they're trying to spin it as a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. They want to make it look like they want to make it look like there is not a problem. There's nothing wrong with the economy.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah. Close your eyes. But it's a shame. It's a shame. You know, again, people voted for Biden because they wanted to get rid of Trump so bad. But what they end up getting is worse than what they had.
I've talked to so many people who voted for Biden who have told me, I am so sorry. I regret my decision now.
Of course. I mean, it's not like people didn't know. It's like the same thing we like to say.
Oh, they should have known.
They should have known. It's like the same thing we like to say to the trans community, right? You say, if you do this to your body, it's gonna hurt and you're gonna regret it. And then later on they come out, we are this trend, we trying to detransition. It's like, I told you. So do I have to tell you that I told you? It's like, you can't play with these hormones and don't think things gonna happen. It's like people are not paying attention to the warning signs. You know, this guy stand for these things. He's been doing it all his life. He's been in politics for so long, and you have seen there hasn't been much success in what he's been doing. And then you put him in office, and what do you think he was gonna do? Something different? He's gonna get converted overnight? Like, are you serious? So
I mean,
it's like,
the guy ran 2 other times and got booted out of the race because he either lied or stole somebody else's speech. So what does that tell you right there? I mean,
people are just not paying attention. I think that's part of the problem. You know, like they say,
anybody but Trump.
Yeah, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So it's like we don't work on preventing evil so much. You know, we don't work on preventing what is wrong. And I think sometimes we ignore all the signs. You know, and we're like, well, it doesn't matter and everything. He's like, I think the same mistake is about to be made with John Fetterman in Pennsylvania. He's like, they keep talking about how great of a guy he is. And I'm like, did you guys see the debate with Dr. Oz? Like, you still believe this is a great guy who
Actually, I've been seeing just the opposite. Everything I've seen and read says Fetterman's own home newspaper just put out an article supporting Dr. Oz.
Yeah, well, I think things are changing now, but like all around here, a lot of our local commercials are for Fetterman, and also a lot of where at least we live in an area that is like democratic, poor. We're not in that area. We like about 15 minutes away from it, so we like in a decent area.
You're on the edge.
We're more like we're like on the edge, so we're more like in a Republican kind of area, but just like 5 minutes away from where we live is all John Fetterman's signs loaded all over the place. And I'm sitting here like, these people are not paying attention. But I can tell like things are changing, because after that debate, I think people are realizing, okay, you know, unfortunately, many of our people are not, you know, paying attention to what's happening in the political landscape. So they don't really know. They just look at a few commercials in there and like, he's with his family and yada yada. It's like, oh, you're gonna go and vote for that guy when you know there are some mental issues going on. He had a stroke. He should be at home and things like that. Like, let's just be honest.
And you could see in that debate, the longer the debate went on, the less coherent he was.
Yeah, and it was sad. I mean, I don't make fun of that because I know.
Oh no, I'm not saying it to be mean.
Yeah, there's a medical condition, but for us to act like we don't see that happening. You know, like, you can't sit in that seat to lead individuals when you yourself need to be led.
Especially when Congress works like, 16, 18-hour days.
Yeah, that's a lot to put up with. You know, we know you can't. You're just not fit for the job. Doesn't mean you're an evil person, you're bad. It's just not fit for the job.
No.
And we need to stop lying to ourselves about these things. You know, it's like, just tell the truth. You know, we don't have to be mean and disrespectful. Just tell the truth. It sets us free. Yeah, well, that's where we stand with that. And guys, we want to thank you so very much for checking this one out with us today. What I would like to do now is, Darth Vader, if you don't mind, you will just close us up with a word of prayer. I'm going to chop up these videos in pieces. So we're going to see some of these videos coming out all throughout the week. So,
Can do.
all right.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We come before you this evening to ask that you be with those in chat who have any prayer requests. Whether or not I know what they are, you do. And we ask that you bring healing, peace, and wisdom in the upcoming elections to those who need it, and that you set straight our country and be with our leaders as they push forward and provide us with a brighter future and a better future. And we pray that those who need it get the healing that they need. And we also pray for those in Discord who have prayer requests that need healing, need comfort, and need peace, that they receive your blessings upon them.
Yes.
And we pray in great thanks that you will see these. We bear these at your feet, and we bring them to you in great thanks for your blessings. In this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you for hanging out with me today. It's been real. Vegas, God bless you. Thank you for hanging out. You know, you came in at the tail end, but we are just glad you're here. This is a 3 hours long. This is the longest live stream we ever had. But the beautiful thing about these live streams is that I get to edit those videos, and they are so much easier to edit. And it's like, I don't have to record for like probably 3 days, you know. So
hey, and I'm just glad to be able to help and be a part of it.
I appreciate you. You always bring home the wisdom, and you just keep it simple. You know, that spirit of Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's nothing hard to understand here.
Nope.
These are the problems. Here are the solutions. That's it. What are you talking about? What do you have?
Why do we need to complicate things?
Yeah. Stop trying to throw black balls. That's not significant. We just want to know what you got to solve these issues. And I love that because you bring that to the table as well as we talk. So thank you so very much. Until next time, guys.
First time viewer, thank you for joining us. We hope to see
thank you
you
for hanging
again.
out. This was a long one. We got some more music reaction videos coming, so look out for that. I think I have like at least 10 videos already uploaded. So
from my understanding, Tom's dropping another video on Friday.
You know, we go on live, right? But I want to go live specifically just for that video, because I think if he drops it at noon, I have like 2 hours at the most. But I would like to do an hour live stream, and we get right into the heart of this one.
Maybe do it at like 1.
Yeah, let's do it at 1, and we
give people time to actually watch the video.
Yeah, and then that's perfect. I'm looking forward to that. It seems like Tommy's dropping those videos back to back now. You notice that? It's consistent.
Friday's Tom's Day.
Yeah, it's like every month now there's a video. That's what it feels like. He's working.
I'm good with it.
I ain't complaining.
Me neither.
Yeah, I love when these artists are doing their thing. You know, these guys are working. You know,
I love Tom, man.
Tom is on fire. You know, Tom is the heart of this channel. You know,
DK, we're Eastern, so it's new for us.
Yeah, it is. Yes. All right. Well, tomorrow we are back. It is 9. It's 9:20 over here. Tomorrow we'll be back. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, what time you think would be best for you? In the afternoon, I'm busy, but I can
anytime after 8.
Okay, 8 in the morning.
Yeah, at night.
8 at night. Okay. Yeah,
would that work for you? Or
that will work. Yeah, let's aim for 8:30.
Okay.
Because I have some things to do with my son. He has piano.
Because that way my wife will be out of the house and she won't be mad at me. She was a little upset because she didn't get to play her music today.
She didn't hear music?
No, she normally plays music when she's getting ready for work. And if she were to play her music, it would come through on my mic. So I didn't want you to get copy strike for music. So
yeah, I agree. Well, thank you for doing that. So tomorrow, about 8:20. It's 8:20 over there. So 8:30 tomorrow. So it's gonna be 7 o'clock for you. 7:30 tomorrow afternoon. So we'll be on.
It'd be 8:30 your time.
Yeah.
It'd be 8:30 our time, so 5:30 Pacific.
Oh, got it.
It's a 3-hour difference.
3 hours difference. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do it tomorrow. Yeah, let's talk on Discord about what we're gonna be going through tomorrow. I have a few things already in line, but let's talk on Discord and put an agenda.
If real quick, if you wanted to, I wanted to talk to you something before you get off real quick. So
yeah, okay. All right, let me end the live stream and we can talk a little bit on here. All right, thank you guys. Till next time. Have a good one.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Bye.